Papaya. How are y'all doing? Hi, Possum. Happy Sapphic Sunday. The last Sapphic Sunday of the month. And also, before I head off to fucking die. How are you? How you been? Hope you've been well. I'm having a great time. I'm existing. I realized last night that I cut my bangs a little too short, and it's sad, but that's fine. I work with it. I will work with it. That's fine. That's fine. I just I trim mine myself at every time, like all the time. Who needs to go to a professional hairstylist? Just have proper scissors. Have proper scissors that are sharp. And just do it in the bathroom. You know? Why not? But anyways, it's Happy Sunday. And it's been a while since we've seen oh fuck, what was her name? Marnie. Marnie. Marnie? Marnie. 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 Did I write Marnie correctly? I did write Marnie correctly. Marnie and Lisbeth. I was trying to type a different name by accident in the title. Marnie. Marnie and Lisbeth. It's in the fairies song when they were but wee teens to preteens. But they were lovely. They slayed a dragon, which turned out to be spoilers. Lisbeth's sister, Flynn. A fun little time. I'm in shit right now, sorry. But now we get to see them return. It's been a while. I've had this game for a while now. Downloaded, or not downloaded, bought on Steam. I've been very preoccupied with other video games like Twofold, First Snow, Bad Your Feelings, Suck for Love to Die For, all that other fun sapphic games. Also, like last week's also Graveyard Girls, which was that game is still extremely sad, and we love it's a kind of good sad. It's a good sad. But now for lighter topics, I hope. Concern. Lighter, less sad, depressing topics. We're going to the Fairy Secret, which takes place a few years after the Fairy Song. I forgot how many years exactly. I wrote down somewhere. It's in the tweet. But yeah, it's been several years since we were last in Fenchapel, and we're gonna see how their lives are doing. How the wives' lives are doing. How the wives' lives. Couple years, 2 years. And I can't see chat because the game I can't see chat very well because the game is huge. Game window is fucking huge and I can't resize it. Oh, I can. Oh, I could resize it this whole time. I'm an idiot. Oh dear. I could have resized the window this whole time. I feel like a dumb human as I murder the computer. Give me a second, I murder the game real quick. It's gonna die. Don't die on me. Don't die on me. That in mind, I'm just trying to get this to be the right size. Almost. More. Better. Do some troubleshooting. Some casual resizing of a window. Down one. Up. There we go. Much better. Now I can see type normally. But anyways, we're going to jump into the Fairy Secret to take place 2 years after the Fairy Song, which ended it really wholesomely, very cutely. I'm excited to see how Marnie and and Lisbeth's life's doing? Want to see how that the quote unquote knight from the good old times is doing? Ah, woman! The woman sat deep in the depths of the forest, perched like a bird among the bough of trees. Pretty woman, pretty lady. Had there been any observers in the woods, beyond the mushrooms and flowers, they would have thought her beautiful. Her limbs were long and slender, her face fair, her long hair curled about her shoulders. She wore a gown comprised of innumerable shades of green, the green of moss and of leaves, and the hundreds of grasses, and scattered flowers were twined through her tresses. Wings protruded from her shoulder blades, like stained glass, which added further to her otherworldly majesty. Majesty, yes, majesty is the word. She was, indeed, a striking creature. But her proud and haughty bearing rendered her aloof and unapproachable. It was clear, even from a glance, she was not of the human world, though she possessed infinite compassion in her forest, and for the creatures who dwelt among it. She could spare no such feelings for humans, not even hatred. To them, she felt only empathy. Why would she care for their plight when she was not a human herself? The woman's dress hung from the bout upon which she sat like ivy, which was quite undisturbed by the breeze. This far into the forest, there was no breeze to disturb it. Once the forest had been light and airy. The winds had carried scents of wild flowers, and in the woman's hair and dress and wings had shifted. Now, however, the winds never seemed to blow, and when they did, they carried only the scents of mildew and mold. Though the forest was festooned with grasses, they were more brownish yellow than verdant green. Deliriously, the woman sat, cast her gaze upon the forest. Her forest. These woods were her home. For many, many years she had lived thus, alongside the delicate, whispery night imperceivable creatures humans seemed determined to ignore. She'd been happy here, in her lush land of tall grass and beautiful otherworldly flowers. But a well of happiness, as of late, had begun to run dry, like a shallow puddle in the pitiless summer months. The last few simple pleasures she gleaned from life had evaporated. She had hoped for many moons, now that things would improve without any intervention upon her part. These things often happened in cycles, after all. Now she could see that optimism wasn't without action would get her nowhere. The forest, her forest, was dying. The woman knew this for a fact, for she could understand the low, arcane lamentations of the very earth. The forest was still alive. If it was not, it could not have cried out as it did. But it would not live for much longer. Not if she continued to stand idle. The time for hoping was past. She had no choice now but to take action.
Do not worry.
The wind spoke in the tongue of fairies, which was soft and sibilant, as she pressed her palm to the bough of the aged tree upon which she sat.
I know it hurts, but please believe me.
The wind pressed her palm more firmly against the bough of the tree, so firmly it bit into her skin. It hurt. The pain was not significant, but the woman was able to endure it. She had loved the forest for centuries, and would continue to do so, even if it hurt her. It was only hurting her, she knew, because it, itself, was hurting.
I will do all in my power to protect you. Soon she will return, and when she does...
The woman's blue eyes narrowed. Her strength was failing her. It had been failing her, in fact, for quite some time, but she still had enough strength, despite her infirmity, to promise thus.
I will not let her leave us again. I pledge my crown upon it, and my life too. It is an easy enough matter to wager one's life away.
The Queen of the Fairies smiled bitterly, her eyes sweeping across the scrubland, which had once been her precious forest.
When it is perilously close already to guttering out.
The first day. Marnie? Hey, Marnie? I felt sleepy, but I can hear somebody calling to me. I was dozing, at least. I think I was. But this sweet voice, coupled with the nudging of tires, the rumbling of tires against the tarmac, makes me blink. Yawning, I crack open my eyes, then turn my head.
What is it?
What's going on? Beginning again! Embark on... I didn't read the rest of it. I can read that. What does that say? I'll read that. Embark on a brand new journey.
Look at her! It's our baby! It's our babies!
It's the gabies.
Oh my!
My companion, a pretty brunette, with a face full of freckles, casts an eye to me, smiling all the while.
Do you remember that, Marnie? You really must be tired.
No, I'm not tired. The reply is pretty pouty, though why I bother arguing with him is a mystery even to myself. It should be obvious, just by looking at me, that I'm exhausted. I bet I have some pretty serious bangs under my eyes. Though, given my fondness for smoky black eye makeup, it should be hard to spot them. That's one of the positives. I being a goth, I guess. I'm just fine, really.
So you say.
My girlfriend, Lisbeth, tittered. Her fingers still curled about the steering wheel.
But you look rather tired to me, Marnie. Did you stay up late last night?
Kind of. It took a while for me to pack. I wasn't sure how much to bring.
Your bag was rather heavy, yes. When I was hauling it into the car this morning, it made me wonder what matter of items you had stashed it away in there.
Oh, it's nothing too crazy. I just brought along some essentials, you know? I had to pack my clothes, of course, and a swimsuit, just in case, and a spare pair of shoes, which were pretty heavy, and then all my makeup.
Ah, yes, all of your makeup. You do have rather a lot of it. You could open up your own cosmetic shop with all of that war paint.
It isn't
Wall paint. Lizzie, jeez. You spent too much time with my dad. He's rubbing off on you. Should I not spend time with your father? I rather like him. He's very fun to talk to. You would think that. Everybody does. Apart from my mother, when she's ribbing when she's ribbing her about her long-lasting love, nay, obsession, with Valentine Roth. Still obsessed with that fucker. Hasn't stopped being obsessed with that fucker in the past 2 years. For fuck's sake. It's crazy that, ain't it? Why, you say? Why? You say that like it's a bad thing. It does not really bother you that I talk to your father, does it? Not really, I guess. It's nice to see you getting along. And at least it gets you off my back. I've watched that in old Indiana Jones trilogy with him so many times, I could, like, quote them off my heart. Oh, I know those moving pictures. He watched the Temple of Doom together last night. I know you did. I bet the whole street did. It was so loud. I could hear it up in my room. Sometimes, I think my dad might be going deaf. He always cranks the volume in his cheesy action/adventure movies up to full blast when he's watching them. My mother's chagrin. That's something else about my dad, I guess, that she doesn't like very much. Still, I don't think my mum has much room to complain, since she's always listening to Valentine Roth songs at truly ear-splitting volumes. My mum and dad often get into silly spats about things like that. I don't think they mean any ill by them, though. As much as they bicker, I've never seen them go hammer and tongs over, say, the mortgage or suspected infidelity or anything super serious. They've been married almost 20 years and they're still pretty lovey-dovey, despite all their spats. I've caught them kissing more times than I'd care to count. Ugh. Disgusting. I think I'd rather have parents who like one another too much, though, rather than parents who don't like one another at all. I know Helena has a pretty hard time of it back in year 8, when her parents went through that messy divorce. I wonder whether that had any influence on her exceedingly poor decision to date that pretentious wannabe magician, Protus, who was, like, at least 7 years, or was it 8, her senior. Protus is a thing of the past now, thank God, and Helena and I were able to patch things up between us. Things are going pretty well in the life of Marnie, TM, despite her downright insistence on wearing all black, like life's some sort of ongoing funeral. I just finished my sixth form, graduating with a string of passably decent values, all B's, and I got an acceptance letter from an art university over in London. I'm working a part-time job over the summer, so I have a little bit of cash. Not a lot, but a little. And to cap it off, I have an amazing, incredible, gorgeous girlfriend. I'm like super lucky. My voice changed over the course of this whole conversation. But that doesn't preclude me from being super sleepy. It's been so hot lately, I'm not getting much rest at all at night. In the stuffy interior of Lisbeth's car, actually it's my mum's car and dad's old car. I'm in my mum's car. Broom broom. isn't doing much to invigorate me. I'm in my mama's car, broom broom. Get out my car! Aww. I'm ready to pass out. Marnie, are you alright? I'm sure I'll live. Don't worry. I've endured worse. Like facing down a dragon in Fenchapel's Falls 2 years ago. It was pretty insane to such an extent. To an extent, I think it was all a figment of my overactive imagination, if Lisbeth didn't remember it at all. Lisbeth, in addition to being my wonderful girlfriend, is also a mite abnormal. And no, that's not just cause she's happy dating a misanthropic grump like me. Lisbeth wasn't born in this century, but many, many centuries past. Way back when England wasn't even England, but a whole bunch of separate kingdoms, all at war, and were being invaded by the Vikings every 5 minutes. Now Lisbeth ended up in this current century is a pretty wild tale, and a lot of twists and turns, but she's integrated pretty well. If you're wondering about how Lisbeth got into the century, you should play the Fairy Song. It's on Steam. It's a great game. It's lovely. The way she talks is still a little stiff. She's one of the more formal teenagers around. But she can read and write in modern English just fine. This mightn't sound... Mightn't? I have never heard the term mightn't before. This mightn't sound so very impressive since she's 18, but I think it's quite the feat, given when she first woke up in the 21st century, she couldn't even spell her own name. Lisbeth would have had difficulties with that, actually, even if she had been able to read and write since. For a while, she didn't even know what her real name was. But we've put all the confusion behind us now. Lisbeth wasn't able to attend sixth form college when I did, an account of her missing out on a full decade of compulsory school. But she's caught up. Ooh, she has a few GCSEs now. Somehow she did even better in maths than I did, and she's planning to take some A-level history and geography next autumn. She also took driving lessons last year, alongside her remedial English and mathematics classes. She passed her test a couple of months back, and since then she's been ferrying me around from place to place. Doing pretty well for herself, given she isn't technically supposed to exist in the century. And I was a little worried, actually, that Lisbeth might have a hard time settling in, given her status as an undocumented alien. But it seems like all that bureaucratic nonsense was taken care of already. Magic really is amazing. It can do anything. It's so convenient. Ahem! In any case, that's why Lisbeth is acting as the designated driver of our trip to Fenchapel. It's unfortunate, but I can't drive to save my life, or anybody's life, for that matter. I could probably end a few lives with my piss-poor driving, though, if what my beleaguered instructor told me during my last lesson is anything to go by. In British. It's actually a little humiliating that Lisbeth's so good at driving since she was born in a century with a car that literally didn't exist. And I'm so awful. I asked Lisbeth how she got so good at driving, and she said, with a smile, that it wasn't at all that different from riding a horse. Maybe she thought that'd be useful advice, but I had a few issues with that. Issue number one, being that I've never ridden a horse before, either, or an issue two, being that I doubt very much so that it's an accurate analogy. Horses don't have engines, damn it. Hey. Hey, Lizzie. Yes? What is it, Marnie? Could I put some music on? It might help wake me up. So you admit that you are tired? Lisbeth giggled triumphantly, though why she looked so smug, I have no idea. I think she just likes being proven right. She can be oddly competitive at times. Yeah, whatever. Sure. I went to sleep late last night, like I said. So sue me. Is the music fine? That depends on what it is. I am rather particular to Taylor Swift myself. Yeah, no. Let's not even go there. Oh no! Oh no! Lisbeth is a Swiftie! We have failed you, Lisbeth. We have failed you. We have failed you, Lisbeth. You've become a Swiftie. God dang it. In the past 2 years. Why even not? Her music is good. It's widely considered good. Yeah, but that doesn't mean I have to like her. I'm an individual, and I can decide what I like and what I don't on my own. Thanks. Methinks you're just being contraire, Marnie. You have no genuine reason to dislike her, save for her popularity. Maybe I am being contrary, but who cares? You know I don't like that sort of music. Trust me, I am well aware of that, particularly after spending 2 years with you. You prefer to listen to music by the angry, shouting cannibal man, do you not? Are you talking about Cannibal Corpse? Yes, that was their name. Goodness. Lisbeth nose wrinkles. That is quite the unpleasant moniker, is it not? If I were a cannibal, I do not think I would wish to announce it to the world quite so proudly. I don't think the members of Cannibal Corpse are real cannibals.
Hello there.
Hi, Bolivia.
May I ask why
Hi,
you're
Bolivia.
sleeping on the floor?
Oh, indeed, real corpses. Same can't be said,
I was
however.
just thinking that you look like the sort of
Keep on,
person
son.
who would enjoy one of our fairy kiss chillers.
And a stretch. The same can't be said, however, for the former members of the Norwegian black metal band Mayhem. On both counts, actually. And I don't think I'm in the mood to listen to Cannibal Corpse right now. Anyway, maybe we can go for something more mellow. What about Nine Inch Nails? Are Nine Inch Nails mellow? Are Nine Inch Nails mellow? I think so, yeah. I mean, Nine Inch Nails aren't even metal. They're rock. They aren't Taylor Swift, though. They are not Taylor Swift, though. I know. That's the best part. Why are you so high up on Taylor Swift anyway? Brigitte likes her. She actually invited me to one of her concerts. Oh yeah. You gonna go? If I can save enough money, if I can save up enough money for a ticket, it sounds like fun. Well, good. I'm glad you're enjoying yourself. Just don't expect me to tag along. I would not. I know what your tastes are like, though I fear you're missing out. Are you sure you have no wish to listen to Taylor Swift? I'm sure. Your music's probably fine. If you happen to like uninspiring milk toast. What? Milk toast? Is that just say milk toast? Yes. It is milk toast.
That's how you pronounce that. If you happen to like listening to uninspiring milk toast lyrics about falling in love, falling out of love, and not being loved by every human in the planet, I guess. But I think I'd put me back to sleep. It's got nothing on pretty hate machines, you know? Oh, alright. Have it your way. We can listen to what you like on the way to Fenchapel. I would like to listen to my favorite songs on the way back, though. Does that sound fair? I guess. Though if Lisbeth does insist that I listen to Taylor Swift, I might have to have a few stern words with her. Good! Put your music on, then. It should invigorate you, if nothing else. It's so loud. Like I said, Nine Inch Nails isn't really that loud. I murmured in protest, albeit weakly, as I hooked my phone up to the car speakers. Then, I'll flip through my collection of albums until I find what I'm looking for. I found Pretty Hate Machine quite quickly and turned it on. So the opening strains of Head Like a Hole fill the car. I leaned back, letting the music wash over me, and look out the window. The green sprawling countryside of England passes by in a blur. All endless fields and trees and hedges and hedgerows. It's a lot prettier out here than it is in Grimsby, where Lisbeth and I set off from earlier. Grimsby is about as grim as its namesake. All grey concrete, and since it's by the sea, it smells of brine pretty much constantly. I like it out here more, though of course there's not much to do. I'm prepared for a pretty uneventful week spent out in Fenchapel, aka the middle of nowhere, but I'm looking forward to seeing my gran again. It's been a while since I last spent any time with her. I think the last time I saw her would have been, 6 months ago, at Christmas, when Aunt Allison drove her over to my parents' place to celebrate. 6 months is a pretty long time, especially for an old woman like my gran, who is in her 80s. I hope she's been doing alright. This is in part why I decided to go visit her. I'm also a soft spot for my paternal grandmother, more so now than ever before. After all, her talk about fairies proved to be spot on. She's the only person in my family who knows the truth about Lisbeth, that she comes from another century, so she's the only person I can be wholly open with about our relationship. Gran might be an old-fashioned woman herself, from another era of her own, but she's very supportive of Lisbeth and I. Another reason for my decision, I guess, would be owed to my upcoming move to London. The drive from Grimsby to Fenchapel takes enough time, almost an hour, but from London to Fenchapel? Forget it. That'd take at least 4. It's pretty up in the air if I'll be able to see my gran in the immediate future, so I figured I ought to snatch as much time with her as possible, while I still have the chance, I guess. Call me a pessimist. I must have listened too much to Nine Inch Nails, but I'm afraid she mightn't be around all that much longer. A baby! It's a bean! But that's cute though. We do. That's very cute of Marnie. You know. I'm very happy that Marnie has a lovely grandmother. Blink. Bean. She blink. But I'm very happy that it's very cute that Marnie went from like, Gran, you're kind of fun. Gran, you're a bit weird, but you know, you're lovable too. I love your Gran. You're awesome. You're very supportive, and also, we love that. We love the grandma's like, hi. So I know that Lisbeth isn't from this century, and I'm okay with this. And the fact you kept it for me, it's okay. We do love Gran. Gran's pretty progress. Oh, it's good to be back. It's been far too long. Lisbeth steps out the car, then slams the door behind her with a thud. Stretches, raising her arms above her head, and looks around Gran's garden with the wide, excited eyes of a child. She always gets so worked up about every little thing. Her cheeriness is palpable. It's so thick, you could cut it, as the cliched saying goes, with a knife. Sometimes I think Lisbeth's ample enthusiasm exhausting. But I think it's pretty adorable. For the most part, at least. Come on, Marnie! Let us hurry! Right, sorry. It's the bee, it's the gaze. Ooh, I love that shirt. I love that shirt. Marnie's got great fashion. I like the little belts. That's kind of cute. And she's still wearing the necklace. Oh my god, she still got the stone. She still got the stone from last game. Hell yeah. I follow Lisbeth's lead next to the car. I slam my legs, which are still much shorter than Lisbeth's. Worse luck. Worse luck. Also, height difference. I just love that. Which is much shorter than Elizabeth. Worse luck. Out onto the solid ground, then close the car door behind me. Unlike Lisbeth, I don't slam the car shut. I have more decorum than she does. And I don't care to make loud noises unless I'm in a bad mood. Once I've escaped from the car's confines, which were getting pretty stifling, I look around myself. It's been a while since I last came here, but Gran's home looks about the same as I remember. Reusing our assets. Hell yeah, we love reusing our assets. Saves us time. Fuck yeah. The back garden is still this sprawling expanse of greenery, all studded with flowers. I used to spend every Sunday here when I was a kid, for a good handful of years. My dad would help Gran with the Sunday roast, and so would my assorted aunts and uncles, who often stopped by with their kids, my cousins, rather. We'd eat Sunday dinner with my grandparents' huge dining room, as this giant wooden table that looked like something from a Victorian era. After we finished eating, I'd rush off to the garden to play Ruby and Pearl, and Ellen, David, and Oliver at my heels. We'd skip stones in the lake, or try to, at least. My stones always seems to think, and play vigorous games of tag, or hide and seek, or blind man's bluff, until the sun sank. I used to love coming here every Sunday, and I loved playing with my cousins. This place really is full of memories. It's crammed full of them, like... Oh, I don't know. What would be a good simile? Packing peanuts? Maybe? Yeah, let's go with that one. Things have changed since I was a little kid, though. My grandparents' house looks the same, but my circumstances are totally different. I didn't come here every Sunday, and I don't come here every Sunday anymore. Those weekly friendly get-togethers have long since stopped. I still love this house, though. I love my family too, and I love coming back here to see my gran.
It really has been a long time. Shall we head inside? I look at Lisbeth, but something about her expression makes me pause. Lisbeth once isn't smiling. She is staring, however. But at what? I follow Lisbeth's gaze past the lake and the tree line, that is, and then... Oh. Oh. I see what it is that's commanded Lisbeth's attention. Or, to be more precise, who? Hi. You're not supposed to be in this game. Hi. I know who you are, because I know what the spin-off game is. There's somebody standing several paces away, half hidden by a corpse of trees. That's not a random person. He's standing in the stepladder. No. Standing at the stepladder, clutching a pair of pruning shears in his gloved hands. I guess he's doing some gardening work. That in and of itself isn't too strange. Gran's garden, being as huge as it is, needs extra hands to come along to keep it all in order. Gran, with her bad back and her slumping shoulders, can hardly be expected to trim her trees and her bushes herself, or to pull the weeds and plant the tomatoes. These responsibilities typically fall upon my dad, but he's been too busy with work these past few weeks to check up on Gran like he usually does. Gran must have had somebody to take my dad's place during his absence. I get that, I really do. But it isn't the presence of the gardener which stops me short. If he was some random man from the village wearing a flat cap and wellies, I'd shrug, maybe shoot him a quick hello, and move on with my life. But it wouldn't be a big deal. This, however, promises to be a very, very big deal indeed. I can only see the mystery man from a distance, half hidden by trees, but I think I recognize him. He has very blonde hair, bright enough to look golden beneath the warm sunset, and a firm, strong jaw. His lips were pursed and his eyes were narrowed in concentration as he worked. Or at least, they were. He turns, shielding his eyes from the sun and scanning the garden. His eyes meet mine, and then they do. My blood runs cold. Oh. My suspicions were right on the money. I really do know this man. His eyes cinch in. They're bright blue. Just like mine. This man's resemblance to me is striking enough to be uncanny. He could easily be my older brother, or at least if I had one, or a long-distant cousin. That isn't the case, though. While we are related, it's in a rather distant, convoluted matter. This man is related to my great. I don't know quite how far I ought to go. Grandmother, Leof. He's our older brother. I have met him before. Deep in Fenchapel's forest. Hello. You're still alive. He was just a knight back then, and his face was hidden by a helmet. I only got a glimpse of what he looked like once, but he left quite the impression. Largely because he seems hell-bent upon slaughtering me. His name is Edmund, and he should, if my mind isn't playing tricks on me, be dead! Lisbeth killed him. I'm certain that she killed him. I saw a sword pierce Edmund's back, saw him bleed out in her arms. I even saw the life fade from his eyes. He died. He definitely died. How then did he end up in Gran's garden, trimming her trees? What's going on? Well, damn.
So, the reason why I knew instantly that was Edmund is because there's a spin-off game of this. There's a spin-off game that is a boys' love visual novel that has Esmond fall in love with, I don't know, with a dude. Ebihime made a boys' love spin-off of the fairies of this game of the series. What is it called? We may asking. It's called this Fairy's Spirit. In Fair Spirits, where he falls in love with an emo boy. He falls in love with an emo boy. It's yaoi. Yeah, hell yeah, it's yaoi. So Esmond basically finds his own Marnie. It's kinda funny. He falls in love with an emo as a fuck boy. And I find that to be fucking hilarious. Damn, indeed. This is an unexpected development. I do wonder what he is doing here, though I suppose I'll never know if I don't ask. What does he have to say for himself? Lisbeth set off without waiting for my reply, her expression unusually grim. I hurry along behind her, just as curious as she is. I also want to get to the bottom of this before it becomes a problem. Esmond waves at us when we approach, and descends the step-ladder. He sits his shears to one side, then addresses us with a small, hesitant smile. Hello, you two. It's, good to see you, I suppose. Yeah, I think the word good is a presumptuous. Presumptive, given the circumstances. Well, perhaps. I can tell that you are surprised to see me. No kidding. But I, too, am just as surprised that I am able to see you. To speak to you. It is good for me to see you in the sense that it is good for me to be able to see anybody. I do not think back by the lake I would ever again be granted that privilege. But, well, this is all very complicated. Edwin frowns and then runs a hand through his hair. In the process, he manages to entwine a few loose leaves and twigs along his hair. But I don't put this out. I have more important things I'd like to talk to him about. It's nice you've not tried to stab us yet, I guess. Though I can't help but give those discarded shears and his query look. A query look. But what are you doing here exactly? And how did you get here? I don't have any idea. Yes, indeed. I too would be very curious in knowing how you came to find yourself here, Edmund. From what I recall, during our last encounter, you were left in no fit state to speak to anybody. Now that's a polite way of saying I stabbed you through the chest I've ever heard of. How were you able to recover from your injuries? I am quite certain that they were fatal. He has to be. Any gay man in a Yuri visual novel has to be angry. They were fatal. With the life drained from my body after you dealt that blow. My thoughts began to fade. And then...
I examined Edmund curiously, my intrigue winning out over the threat posed by his discarded garden shears. I can't help but be enticed by Edmund's grim fate and how he escaped it. I want to hear what he has to say, but... Oh, Marnie, Lisbeth, you're here! A rearing voice echoes across the garden, cutting our conversation short. This voice is thin with age, like semi-skimmed milk, but dignified with it. All cut glass syllables, spoken in a perfect RP X school house. What? In perfect roleplay of an ex-school mistress. Roleplay. It's supportive ground. It's the supportive ground. It's very good to see you again, dears. I'm glad you're looking so healthy. I only wish I could stay to say the same for her myself. Now, don't you have a hug for your old Gran? I've missed both of you terribly. Oh yes, of course. Sorry, Gran. Guiltily, I turn myself away from Edmund, then cross the garden to meet Gran. I stoop to embrace her, in short. I'm short, but Gran is even shorter, and pat her back, which feels alarmingly thin beneath her splayed palm, my splayed palm. Gran is an old woman, but despite her advanced age, she's surprisingly spry. She can still shuffle around the household unaided, and though her eyesight's failing, she can cook herself and clean and sweep the floors and polish the banisters. She's been finding it hard, however, to keep going like she always used to. That's why she has a carer. Moira, I think her name is. Pops in every other day to help her with her housework and to buy groceries. Grandma might be an incredible woman, but she can't do everything by herself. I'm made more aware of this than ever before when I embrace her. She feels like she's wasting away. I wonder how much longer she has left. She really is getting old. You too, Lisbeth. Gran calls to Lisbeth once she's had her fill of hugging me. Come here, dear. You're part of the family too. Oh yes, it's very good to see you, Iris. Now, you needn't call me Iris, dear. We're not strangers. I'd rather you call me Gran, too, like everybody else, even if we're not related. We might as well be, given you and my Marnie are so close. Well, you're not wrong there. Marnie and I have been getting along very well. Have you now? Yes, indeed. I always love spending time with her. Though perhaps I shouldn't say that. Poor Marnie's face is so red, it looks like a strawberry. Aw, I love these two. Marnie is like that. She gets embarrassed so easily. I wonder who she takes after. She's not even at all like my Andrew. That's for certain. I don't think I'm very much like Mum or my dad. I am my own person, and I'd rather appreciate it if you and Lisbeth didn't talk about me like that. I wasn't. You know, standing right here. I can hear every literal word you're saying about me. That was the idea, Marnie. It's rude, after all, to speak about people behind their backs. If I'm going to talk about you and how much I love you, I'd much rather do it while you're around, so you can hear it every single word. Oh, we love her. We love... Lisbeth has a very cute love language. Words of affection. Look at her go. Ugh. Ugh. I pull a face. I'm so thoroughly embarrassed by Lisbeth's lofty praises, I can feel my cheeks burning. That's one of the worst things about having skin as pale as mine. When I get embarrassed, which happens more often than I'd rather like to admit, my face turns the boldest and brightest shade of crimson you can imagine. I could even put a post box to show. Ugh. I must look so stupid. Now then, you two. Look like you met Esmond. Yes, indeed. We were just saying hello, as a matter of fact. And I have pen inside my head, giving him the 3rd degree. Now that Gran needs to know that I need to know that. I don't want to break it to her that this man, in her garden, who she's seen fit to arm with a set of pruning shears, is actually a reanimated corpse. It's not like I don't think she'd believe me. My garden's more open-minded than most adults. But I don't want to make her worry. It mightn't be the best for her heart, hearing some about corpses and curses and the like. Is this the nice man, your gardener? Yes, that's right. Well, that's one mystery solved. Not that I was in much doubt about it. The pruning shears did give the game away, somewhat. Esmond here stands working for me. Started working for me. When was it? I think it was under a month ago. That sounds about right. In any case, you've been helping me for a few weeks now. You've been coming to my garden to trim the trees and the bushes, and you've been making such a difference. Don't you think my garden looks wonderful now? Frank would be so pleased if he could see it. It's never been tidier. Not since Andrew came to help me replant all the flower beds last summer. It looks pretty nice. Yeah. My dad might have something of a green thumb, but I've never really been into the gardening myself. All that scrabbling around in the dirt, yanking out weeds, so isn't my scene. Especially given how neat and trim I like to keep my nails. Huh? Oh yeah, it's Sunday. Okay. I'd think that... I have a text message. Oh, the comments. What of a time? Oh, they're just comments from Abby email. Lol. Sorry. My phone. You think the dirt wouldn't bother me, given my nails are always painted black. But you'd be wrong. It bothers me a lot. Plus, black nail polish and dirt are two very distinctly different things. I'm just marking servers as right, so I don't have to look at the two on Discord. That kinds of dirt, sure. What doesn't stop me from knowing it's there? Changing my position, because I'm weird. Now, I don't think there's much point in us hanging around out here, nattering. You girls must be tired after your long drive, and thirsty too. Do you want to come in for a cup of tea? Oh yes, I'd love that very much, thank you. I mean, Gran. You three enjoy yourselves then, I'll be out here. Finishing my work. I love how he has a very different distinct face shape compared to everyone else. Oh, don't fuss about that now, dear. You've done a wonderful job already. I worry about you toiling out here in the heat for hours on end. I know I pay you for the privilege, but I'd hate for you to get sunstroke. Got that yaoi face. He's got that yaoi chin. He's got the yaoi chin. Why don't you come inside too? Bring an extra cup of tea is no hassle, and I have a lovely Victorian sponge to go with it. Ooh, Victoria sponge cake, tasty. I know how you feel about cake, Esmond. That is very generous of you, but I would not want to intrude. Not while you are with your family. It would not seem right. Oh, stuff and nonsense. You need pieces of conscience. Marnie and Lisbeth are both lovely girls, and I doubt they've any reason to take against you. Right? Not a single reason at all. Why, it seems quite the opposite. From where I'm standing, I saw the three of you engaging in a conversation earlier, and it looked quite the involved conversation too. I felt almost guilty about interrupting. Now come inside, dear. You are finished your... finish your chinwag about the kitchen table. Well, if you're sure. Do neither of you mind? Oh no, I don't. I do not mind at all. There is still a lot I want to talk to you about, and I'm sure Marnie feels the same. Thank you for the hydrate, Possum. And stretch. Okay. Thank you. I'm guessing I'm refreshing at my Amazon tracking page, seeing one of my portable battery is gonna get here. My portable charging battery and my luggage tags. Isn't that right, Marnie? That's right. There's a lot we need to discuss. Right. Esmond sighs. I suppose I will take you up on your kind offer then. Thank you for your hospitality. It's no problem, dear. The more the merrier. Now, let's head inside. I could just murder a slice of sponge cake. Wee! Whoa! A few minutes have passed since I met Esmond, and now I'm sitting across from him at the table in my grand's kitchen. This is all kinds of crazy. I can't say I even expected this to happen. Party stove. Wait, that's a lot of fucking burners. That was 6 burners at least. That's at least 5 burners, right? Because there's 2 on the sides, 1 in the middle. That's like 5 burners, right? That's how that works. It's 5 burners and then 2 knobs for the oven? Question mark. And one's a timer? Question mark. One's the temperature. Like, that's a lot of burners. That's either 5 burners or 6 burners and a single knob for the fucking oven. If God knew that Esmond had once tried to decapitate me, she might have second thoughts about letting him inside the house. But I guess ignorance, as they say, is bliss. What she doesn't know won't hurt her, and Esmond, for the present, at least, doesn't seem to be overtly bloodthirsty. Not anymore, at least. I guess that's something to be thankful for. I still can't bring myself to feel wholly at my ease around him, though. Attempted murder isn't something a girl can shrug off easily. It's a pretty big no-no in in the polite society. You know. It's even worse than eating with your elbows on the table. Which is something my mum scolds me for all the time. I don't understand. How often would you put your elbows on that table when you're eating? What does that even mean? Like, no bleeding on the table? I never understood that. Why are your elbows on the table? Why are your elbows on the table? What are you doing with? Why are your elbows on the table when eating? Why are your elbows on the table? Ah, why are they on the table? I don't understand. Anyways. Elbows be wild then. So, I look at Edmund, arcingly my eyes narrowed. What exactly is going on? How did you get here? Why are you here? And what do you want from us? I just can't get out how cute Marnie is. Me too! Now it's Lisbeth. Look at Lisbeth. The baby. My questions might be pointed, but they're also quiet. I don't want Gran to overhear our conversation. That'd only make her worry. My mum might say I'm selfish, but I do think about other people's feelings. Well, on occasions at least. I am unaware whether I can answer those queries of yours, not to a satisfying extent at least. I am not here, you see, by choice. No. Edmund shook his head. As for how I got here, if by here you mean the realm of living, then... Edmund brushed a few strands of his fair hair behind his ear, with expressions pensive. It is... complicated. Yes, you've already said that. And like I said, that isn't very helpful. Can't you give us a summary? Try to make it sappy. Grandma will be finished with the tea soon. I too am very curious about all this. Please tell us how you got here. I find it quite perplexing. I banged a dude. No, not yet. He hasn't found the guy yet. I am not the only one. You're not the only one. I'm just as perplexed about this affair as you are, if not more. I am the one, after all, who was run through, bled out, and left for dead, only to revive, what seemed like scant seconds later, upon the banks of the same lake where I had been left to drown. Were you truly brought back to life, then? That's how it appears, yes. Does that mean you're some kind of zombie? What? Edmund frowns. I beg your pardon? Oh, right. I guess you never would have the chance to watch Dawn of the Dead. Or Shaun of the Dead. The movie we watched last week on Saturday. Huh. I'll elaborate. I mean, is your skin cold? Do you still have a pulse? Would you bleed if I stabbed you with a fork? Why with a fork, of all things? I'm in the kitchen. Duh. Forks are an ample supply. Way more than swords. I suppose. Personally, I think a knife would be more of an effective weapon. Not that I wish to instruct you on how to best harm me, of course. Why am I blushing? Of course. I know my appearance here must be shocking, but please believe me when I say I do not want to be your enemy. I have no desire to take a sword to you, or a knife, or a fork, or spoon, for that matter. As for whether I still bleed, meanwhile,
Yes, I do. I have a pulse as well. My skin does not feel cold. I would offer you to touch it. I would offer to let you touch it if you wish to verify the matter, but that might be a bit too forward.
Yes, it is too forward. Marnie is my girlfriend. I doubt she's in interest in running her hands all over you.
I thought as much. I suppose you will simply have to take my word for it then, that I am alive. I feel more alive, in fact, than I did during those centuries I haunted the lakeside, like more than a vengeful spirit. Certainly, I feel much more reasonable. I've not tried to assault either of you yet, have I?
No, I guess not. I can't say I like the sound of yet, though. It's quite ominous. So, sorry, but let's try to get the basics figured out. You say you're alive now, which I'll believe. You look pretty alive to me. But didn't you die once before? Don't tell me Lisbeth failed to properly kill you. If I had failed, Marnie, I would be the first to know about it. I have experience enough with a sword to tell whether or not my blows are fatal. Edmund died during our last skirmish. He lost too much blood to simply shrug it off. It was no mere flesh wound. 'Twas not but a flesh wound.
Lisbeth is indeed right. I will defer to her knowledge upon the matter. I did die back then, as I told you while we were in the garden. I felt my body turning cold, and my consciousness fading. My eyelids fell shut, and then I saw and heard nothing.
Nothing. Until you woke up again by the lake.
That's correct.
And you've no idea how you made this miraculous recovery?
I have a vague idea.
So vague you won't let Lizzie and I in on it?
Well,
I think it was a full explanation of how you came here after all the grief you caused us. It's the least you could do, really. There's no way we'd be able to trust you otherwise. Isn't that right? I agree. For all we know, you mightn't be Endesmond at all, but a wicked, deceitful fairy wearing his skin.
that is a possibility, I suppose. The forest is full of fairies still, and they are known for their trickery. I'm unsure how I can convince you who I am. However, other than reiterating my previous points. I truly am Esmond, and I am Leif's older brother, and for a long time I was a lonely, misguided spirit of a man. I know I caused you many problems, for which I am truly sorry, and now I would like to make amends. I believe that, in fact, was why I was summoned, hence. I did not revive upon the lakeside owing to my own magical abilities. That would be an impossibility for me, given I am mostly mundane. I was brought here by the machinations of another. It was by they who revived me, and when they did, they bestowed upon me a purpose.
Oh? Now this is getting interesting. So somebody's pulling your strings.
They certainly pulled me out of the deep, dreamless slumber. They are not controlling me now, however. Or if they are, I have not noticed it. My mind, you see, is quite untroubled. I feel much as if I did during life, when I was truly alive.
Uh-huh. There is something a mind-controlled puppet would totally say, but to his credit, Esmeralda sounds and looks pretty lucid. If this is an act, It's a damn good one. I'm tempted to believe him, but there's still a whole bunch I don't know. Who did revive you then? Do you know them?
I'm unable to see them, alas. I was unable to see them, alas. I was all alone when I woke upon the lakeside about...
Esmond ponders, his arms folding across his chest.
I think it occurred about a month past. There was nothing with me, yet I heard a voice in my head, ringing as clear as a bell. It was this mysterious voice which told me to go to Iris Linux's house in Fenchapel to keep an eye on her. It said, but perhaps said is not quite right, given the words seem to unravel almost inside my head, that disaster might one day visit Fenchapel, a disaster I must avert. Iris Linux will be involved in this disaster, as will her granddaughter. And so will you, Lisbeth. I cannot tell you what this disaster refers to. I do not know the particulars myself, but upon seeing the pair of you, my duty became clear. I would revive it so that I may protect you.
You want to protect us?
That is correct. I know that this might seem like an unbelievable claim, coming from a man who once meant to cause you harm, but it is the truth. I am so many things, but I am not, even at my worst, I was not a liar.
I guess Esmond has a point there. Sir, he might have tried to kill me and Lisbeth. But even back then, when he was more or less insane, he never lied to us. Lisbeth was the one laboring under a misapprehension. What with her insistence that she really was his little sister, Leaf. I thought Esmond was delusional, but Lisbeth was more so. With that being said, however, I'm still not sure if we can trust him. Such a bad blood between the three of us, and it is pretty strange, no matter how you slice it, that Esmond literally came back from the dead. These things don't just happen, like every other day. It's a big freaking deal. It would be, at least, if Lisbeth and I hadn't faced a bunch of spooky skeletal soldiers before, not to mention a huge fucking dragon. This is the fact that Lisbeth herself is from, like, about 1 million centuries ago, but not quite literally. Fenchapel and its force don't really play by the same rulebook as the rest of the world. Alright. Let's say you're telling the truth, and you really were summoned here to protect Lisbeth and I from this so-called disaster. I make little quotation marks with my fingers when I say the word disaster. It sounds so high fantasy. Like something from the Lord of the Rings. It's hard to take it seriously. Do you know anything about what it might involve?
Unfortunately, I do not. I am much in the dark as the pair of you.
Jeez. If this voice is going to go with the effort of bringing the dead back to life, you'd think it'd give you a bit more information about it. Its properties seem kind of whack.
Whack!
Like, messed up, off-kilter, weird.
Oh yes, I can agree with that. The wish was not addressed. Has not addressed me since I revived it, which leads me to believe I am doing something right. That or I am performing my duties so very wrongly. It has washed its provocative hands of me in despair.
I can't help but snort at that. Who knew Esmond had a sense of humour? I sure as heck didn't, given how serious he looked back then. When, Enough about the voice, then. We'll worry about it later. You said it was a month since you walked by the lake? More or less, yes. Well, that raises a whole bunch of questions. What have you been living? Where have you been living during that time? And how have you been living? If you're properly alive now, like me and Lizzie, then you can't subside on, like, cobwebs and moonbeams or whatever it is fairies eat. Don't you need to eat actual food? Indeed I do! But your grandmother has been most helpful in that matter. She plies me with cakes and scones and biscuits during my visits, to such an extent that she will stuff them into my pockets should I try to refuse. She seems determined to fatten me up. Perhaps she worries I don't eat enough. As for my lodging, I have been living in a set of rooms above the Blackbird's Perch in Rangby. You know it? Rangby, huh. The name rings a bell, as well as it should. I used to help my dad with navigating when we went on a drive. A road map spread on my knees, so I know the spidery network of roads and towns and villages around Grimsbury fairly well. Ragby. Ragby's a small town with 10 miles away from Fenchapel. It's larger than Fenchapel itself. Most villages are. But it's nothing to write home about. I've never been inside the Blackbird's Perch, but I've passed it numerous times during my trips to my parents to Fenchapel. It's an old-fashioned pub, done up in the old Tudor style. All white walls with black supports that probably dates back to, I don't know, the 1750s. It's been renovated a bunch since then, but it looks pretty authentic. It's scenic too. So, you made a home for yourself right near Fenchapel, have you? Some notes. I had enough money from my gardening work to afford the rent, which isn't overly expensive. I think the landlady has taken a liking to me. And food too. One does get tired of eating cake all the time. It is strange though. In the past, when I existed as a vengeful shadow, I did not need to eat, nor drink, nor even sleep. Now, however, I have found it necessary once more to satisfy the cravings all humans have. If I do not eat, I get hungry. And if I do not sleep, I begin to grow weary. In my resurrection, I have become more like an ordinary man than ever before. I do not know what manner of enchantment she used to revive me, but it must have been a powerful one. Whatever you, Lisbeth, I would not have known such magic was ever possible. Lisbeth frowns. It would appear our situations are similar then. We might both be ghosts from the past, but we have manifested in this era like a pair of ordinary humans. I was awake with my slumber by Marnie, and by her necklace. But as for you... Lisbeth ponders, her brown eyes boring into those of the man she once believed to be her brother. I wonder how you came to be here. I wonder too. But this is not all I wish to relate to you. Oh yeah? Yes, indeed. I am not the only shadow from the past who has emerged, reanimated, in this era. This came to my attention only recently, but... All Alright, everyone, the tea is all brewed, and I've cut each of you a slice of cake, too. I hope you enjoy it.
Thank you very much, Miss Lennox. Would you let me help you with that?
That's quite alright, dear. I can manage well enough my own. Your kindness is appreciated, though. Here you are, Esmond. I cut an extra big slice of cake for you. I don't know what you're being fed over at Blackbird's Perch, but it isn't enough. As a growing lad, you could use some fattening up.
Oh, I stopped growing a long time ago, Miss Lennox. I'm already 23!
I think you mean only compared to me. You're still a child.
I'm already 23. You might be surprised. I have more livid experience than you might think.
Well, if you're as mature as all that, you really ought to stop calling me Miss Lennox. It sounds awfully stuffy. Iris is just fine.
You might think so, but does that not seem a touch forward?
Oh, wow. Now Esmond's really blushing. It's not a particularly pronounced blush. He seems better at curbing his embarrassment as I am. But his cheeks still distinctly pink, thanks to my grand's fussing. I'm seeing a whole slew of sides of Esmond I never knew existed. It's fine, dear. You need be so very polite. You're putting me in mind of my school teacher's days. But it's been a long, long time since I last led a class full of rowdy students. You're more well-behaved than my pupils were in any event, and you're a good deal older. I think I can trust you not to eat pencil lead or throw ink pellets around.
I will give you my word.
Then I in turn must insist that you call me Iris. It would go a long way to turn this old woman up.
Oh, if you insist. Thank you for the tea, Iris, and for the cake. It is really very good.
You're welcome, dear. I feel like I'm the truly fortunate one here, being able to spend time with a nice young boy like you. Though, of course, I can't forget my darling granddaughter and my old dear Lisbeth. How are you finding the cake? Is it to your liking? Oh yes, it is simply lovely. The sponge is so light and airy, and the cream has been whipped to perfection. If I had to rate this cake, I'd give it a 10. No, an 11. Out of 10, of course.
So we're going into top heavy fractions, huh?
Lisbeth really must like this cake. Lisbeth is a massive foodie, in part, I think, because the food on offer back during her day was of the bland, tasteless variety. Oh, but her palate's actually pretty discerning. There aren't many foods she won't try, but after sampling a bunch of 21st century grub, she tends to favor hearty, homemade meals over the microwavable stuff you can buy in plastic containers. And we need to figure out what we're gonna be eating their possum as well. We need to figure out the fuck we're eating. What are we food. Ah, yes, the dreaded thing. Food planning. Then again, I guess it's pretty standard. I can't imagine all that many people who'd go nuts about Sainsbury's ready-made macaroni and cheese. My, that is high praise. We can figure it out. You know, we'll figure things out along the way.
When in doubt, we can buy McDonald's or something. Whatever, we have fucking fast food. We'll figure it out. When in doubt, we can have fast food, you know, but probably shouldn't have fast food all the time. But the good thing is we have Sunday's possible lunch figured out because we're doing a whole maid. We're going to a maid cafe and then having boba after. So that's sorted at least. Sunday is fine for lunch. Lol. I'm looking forward to trying this cake myself. This one I didn't make myself for once. Though I believe Jane did follow one of my recipes. By the sounds of it, she did a good job. Hmm? Who's Jane? I asked you if you wanted to get boba after the maid cafe. And you said... We had a whole discussion about it in Discord. Did you forget about that? There was a whole discussion about it on Discord. And how I remember what Rat's order was off the top of my head. Which not that complicated order, but like I remember there's a whole conversation about it. And then we talked about how Rat's ice would be melted by the time the rat meetup happened. Did you forget? There's a whole discussion about it. What do you mean you forgot? You fucking... You wee bastard. You silly little... bitch. Oh, did I tell you? You must have slipped my mind, silly me. Jade is my new caretaker. She comes to check up on me every evening, save Mondays, and since Moira left. She's not been popping over all that long. I saw her last week. I've grown awfully fond of her. That's good. I have everything packed except the phone batteries, which are supposed to get here that are estimated earliest to get here by 5:15. That's when they estimate that my phone battery, my two portable batteries, and my luggage tags are supposed to be here. It says by 5:15 to 8:15. That's the time window they estimate. And the other thing I ordered from Amazon is gonna get here tomorrow, even though I ordered it a day later. Why? And I'm still shocked that it didn't register the cancellation of one of the orders. I'm still shook it didn't register the cancellation of the blue one. I clicked the cancel order of the blue one, and it still is getting both. I'm getting both the blue and the black one. I only needed one of them. I only needed one of them. Oh well. Metallic card holder? Wait, what? With metal plate for what? Metal plate for... I missed that on the fucking... reading the text. Metallic plate for card holding? Huh? That makes no sense. Anyways. The cooking is delicious, and so it transpires is her baking. This Victorian sponge is her first effort. She made it yesterday, though. I didn't have appetite for it just then. I'm looking forward to it. Maybe. I don't know. Gran breaks off a piece of the soft brown sponge cake beneath the tines of a fork as she speaks and slides it into her mouth. Mmm! Delicious! You're quite right, Lisbeth. I'll be tempted to give this perfect mark myself. I think Jane's baking might be even better than my own. Gran continues to talk good-natured, yet daintily about Jane,
And what a great boon she's been while eating forkfuls of her cake and sipping on her tea. Her conversation is light and lilting, but I can't help but notice the dour expression that settled on Esmond's face. His lips are pursed, and he's examining his cake like it's something diseased. I've eaten half my own slice, while Lisbeth is cutting herself a second, but Esmond seems less than impressed with Jane's Victorian sponge. I wonder why. I'll write out with it. I confront Esmond outside once we finish eating our tea and cake. I size Esmond up. Yup, he's still taller than me. Yup, he's still taller than me. And yes, I say in a voice that could make even my old PE teacher flinch. What exactly is going on with you? I beg your pardon? To what, might I ask, are you referring to? Oh, please. Do you think you think I needn't ask? It's blatantly obvious something is up. It's like, so obvious. You'd have to be blind not to notice. You had more you wanted to say before Grant interrupted, and then, when she mentioned this Jane woman, you pulled this awful face. You looked like, I don't know, you wanted to maul somebody with your fork or something. I thought we were already decided that if one wished to maul somebody, going about the matter with a fork would be most inconvenient. Neither even for superior if one was mutilating in mind. Yeah, whatever. The fact remains, you are acting super sus. You are venting! You are fucking venting in admin. Back at the kitchen. He vented into the kitchen. Don't you agree, Lizzie? Huh? What does sus mean, Marnie? Ugh. It means he's the imposter. We need to send him out the airlock right now. Huh? My dear Marnie, for whatever are you speaking of? What is an airlock? And why was he... And what do you mean he was venting? Liz has gotten a lot better when it comes to modern parlay. But since she hardly ever uses the internet, she's behind on a lot of the most recent lingo, like sus, and the imposter, and amogas. I've had to educate her more thoroughly in the future. She's not ever fit in with the teens of today, if she didn't even know what sus means. Marnie! My dear Marnie, I was venting into admin. Am I not sus enough for you? I just had the most cursed idea. Are you ready to hear the most cursed thing ever, Possum? Are you ready? Possum, art thou ready to hear the cursed texts? I'm just looking at Posse's face. Please, I would like a verbal answer. Is this a yes to the cursed texts? Oh my god, I'm about to do this. I'm about to do this, aren't I? Marnie, I am sticking out my gat for a Rizzler. You are so bow wow. You're so Bebo-taxed. I just want to see you are Shiori. Marnie, my fair Marnie. My lovely girlfriend, Marnie. I am sticking out my yacht for a Rizzler. You are so bow wow. You are so Bebo-tax. I just want to see your Shiori. Anyways, sus means like suspicious. He was acting strange, you know? Oh yes, that is definitely true. He barely touched his cake, which was very peculiar. It was so good. It was sus of him to start venting in a madman. Do you have a vendetta against Iris's new caretaker, Esmond? It's like an entire different language. For show. Esmond was acting ice cold. But you know what? I got that dog in me. I got that dog in me. Lisbeth. I will let us nay into the sunset. What other things do the cool kids say these days? I am wittily hitting the gritty. I would not call it a vendetta, per se, but I am suspicious, or sus, if you'd like. Sus of her. Wow, that's certainly kind of cringe. Wow, that is something kind of cringe about Esmond saying that. Isn't it at all? It was cringe. Oh, suspicious, or sus, if you will. About this caretaker. I've seen Jane before, if Jane is indeed her real name, and you gave me quite the start. She was venting in admin. She is an ordinary woman. What is she then? Not a fairy or a pixie? Or a witch? Or a witch? You jest, but that guess of yours mayn't be too far off the mark. You see, this woman, this Jane, bore a striking resemblance to the witch who once dwelled within the forest, the witch in black, whom I believe you were intimately acquainted with. She looked a good deal like Lynette. Lynette? Lynette? You mean my sister? She's here too? Okay, I'm gonna quickly hydrate and we'll be back. We'll be back with being sus. With the sus behavior of this Jane fellow.
The Fitness Gram Pacer Test is a multi-stage aerobic capacity test that progressively gets more difficult as it continues. The 20-meter pacer test will begin in 30 seconds. Line up at the start. The running speed starts slowly, but gets faster each minute after you hear this signal. Bodie-doop. A single lap should be completed every time you hear this sound. Ding! Remember to run in a straight line and run as long as possible. The second time you fail to complete a lap before the sound, your test is over. The test will begin on the word start. On your mark, get set, go!
How can you even say that when you were roped into the club yourself? That was even worse. I was just taking advantage of your personal problems to get a small step up in this dumb fight.
That's not the one I want. I want this one. On your mark, get ready, start!
I'm desperately trying to hold my life together, but does she care?
I did what I could.
It's honestly hard to tell.
All I'm good at is shoving people
what
around.
Caprice wants.
No one would give me the time of day otherwise.
Her into her orbit,
He
whether
hates
they
me.
like it or
He
not.
avoids us a lot of the time. The
I do
club
my
doesn't
best
even
with
want
it.
to meet
It
anymore.
doesn't matter how much
promise
bonding
you,
or verbal
none of
acrobatics
that's
it
true.
takes. I will
How can you
always
even
try
say
to
that
solve
when
things
you were
delicately.
roped into the club yourself?
She is
That was even worse.
rushing around
I
like
was
a
just
bull in
taking
a giant
advantage of
shop,
your personal
undoing the
problems
peace
to get
and
a small
normalcy
step up in
people
this
build
dumb
for
fight.
themselves.
It was still
When
my
she gets
decision
excited,
in the end.
it's as if people's
So
feelings
was everything
don't
that
even
you
matter.
matter.
Join the art
Your
club.
club.
Now.
Who cares if
It's
there's
been a
already a
rough year,
perfectly
but
good one?
That's only
Let me
because
use
I
the
hate
word
seeing
Your
my
club.
friends.
Oh, what do you know?
No,
Looks like we're gonna
be
be
family.
Why does it feel like nothing I do is good enough? Why does
Do
it
you
feel like I
hate
can't
her?
get through to anyone? I'm so sick of it. I
love her.
Lots of this. My best friend.
love Caprice.
Caprice.
Always have.
You get it?
She's
My sister.
You've always been my sister. Haven't I been yours?
Can everything go
You
back to the way it
hate me that
was?
much?
I don't
Maybe
need
I
our
deserve
parents to be
Get
married for us to be
family.
family.
Doesn't that count
We're
for
no
anything?
replacement for what I've
Why would
lost.
you be leaving for you to want to talk?
I don't think I
Just
understand
hug
that.
us again. To smile, to live with each other instead of around.
Millie,
Why is
Millie?
it so hard?
let's head home
I
early
don't know
tomorrow.
the best words or how to say what I mean,
like
so
I
I just
don't
keep
know
talking,
anymore.
hoping one
You
small
can stay
part of
with
it
me
might
if
be
you want.
enough. I'm tired
For as
of
long as you
screaming.
need. Caprice.
What is it all that... Don't let go.
I won't. I promise. I think I love you too.
Family. Our parents to get married to be a family. It's my sister. What is my sister? I want to announce some con-exclusive prints in their Patreon, and you're excited? Hell yeah! I'm not a patron, but hell yeah! Pop off. Pop off! I'm excited for the Curio. I'm excited for little Curio. Curio adorable. It's a baby. Curio a baby. And we're gonna see him on Friday. I'm gonna buy you so much. Curio's such a bean. Curio's a bean. I don't even Curio lines, sadly. The closest I have. I don't have anything close to Curio line.
Well, that's what happens when summer's around. You're a lifesaver. Okay. See. Great job, buddy.
Close. Here, that's close. My closest Curio line.
Great job, buddy. Great job, buddy. Yeah. Take care. Well, that's what happens when summer's
You're
around.
keep
You're a
busy?
lifesaver.
Yes.
Great
Oh,
job.
take
That's
it
what
easy.
happens when
What's
summer's
up?
around.
I'm
Hey,
sorry.
see you there.
I need to surprise you.
I can't believe
Hey,
you're
Millie,
my
you're
favorite
so
friend
great.
too.
Con is tomorrow, so I don't
My
Have you ever
take a
rolled
pen if you want to.
But I don't even know here.
What's in
It's
this?
the most bunch of rocks.
I've felt
Some, yes.
years.
Amongst other
You didn't
geological
really
samples.
expect us to be together here then, huh?
Chatting,
Plans
yes.
for ahead.
You've always shown up
Kind
at
of
the
where I'm at
perfect
right
time in
now.
my life.
So
See,
much.
I have these friends.
All of you.
I was worried that I couldn't call them that
And,
anymore.
I don't want
Hilarious.
years to
Since
go
I've
back
seen
to
any
how
of
they
them.
have been.
You haven't broken a promise to me yet. I love you too. That was
Hey.
something
Anyway, I was just again
Lagging the stream deck. The stream deck is lagging behind when I'm pressing.
Or is this talk about how I wrapped you? The last person who gave me any sense.
Last thing here is last person to give me any sense. Robin's performative lie.
How can you even say that when you were roped into the club yourself? That was even worse. I was just taking advantage of your personal problems to get a small step up in this dumb fight.
Or is this talk about how I wrapped you the
The
last person who gave me any sense of normalcy into this big
performative lie.
All I'm good at is shoving people around. No one would give me the time of day otherwise.
Because it's
It's
always
always
about
about
Caprice.
Caprice.
What
What
Caprice
Caprice
wants.
wants.
She pulls
Everyone-
everyone around her into her orbit,
own-
whether they like it or not. So,
Then
I do my best with it.
it.
It doesn't matter how much bending or verbal acrobatics it takes, I will
Really
always try to
do
solve
the
things
things
delicately. There she is, thrashing around like a
Like a
bull
bull
in
in
a
a
china
china
shop,
shop,
undoing the
undoing
peace and normalcy people build for themselves. Once she gets excited, it's as if people's feelings don't even matter.
You've always been my sister.
Sister.
Haven't I been yours? You hate the idea that much?
I love Caprice. I always have. She's my sister.
I just wanted to laugh again. To
Smile.
smile, to live with each other instead of around. Why is it so hard?
I hate this. Why can't everything go back to the way it was?
I don't know the best words or how to say what I mean, so I just keep talking and hoping one small part of it might be enough. I'm tired of screaming.
Join the art
Art
club.
club.
Who cares if there's already a perfectly good one?
one.
Let me use the booth for your club. Oh, what do you know? Looks like we're gonna be family.
Then why does it feel like nothing I do is good enough? Why does it feel like I can't get through to anyone? I'm so sick of it. Months and months of this.
She treats everything
Anything
like
like
some
some
childish
childish
rivalry
rivalry.
between us. I'm desperately trying to hold my life together, but does she care? It's honestly hard to tell.
I like how I just have to. I have so much that to memorize. If I haven't listened that this specific sound mashing in ages. I haven't listened to the sound mashing in like a while, and I just memorized the random snippets. It is about how I roped you, the last sense of normalcy, into this big performative lie. Anyways. I cannot say for certain. I am so stunned when I saw Jane, I was not afforded a proper chance to speak with her. I did try to address her, of course, when I had gathered my wits, but she seemed not to know who I was. All I was able to glean from her were polite. All I was able to glean from her polite asides one would expect from an ordinary woman. She looked a good deal like Lynette, but she did not act like her. Lynette. That name, Lynette. Not Lynette, Lynette. What game did I play that had the name Lynette? Hmm. So I'm hung up on the word on the name Lynette right now. Whom's the fuck? I played a game. Who? Lynette. Hmm. Lynette. What game was it that had someone named Lynette? I can't freaking remember. That's gonna be annoying. That's gonna be bugging me for a while until I figure out what game it was that had a person named Lynette. Oh well. All the same, however, I cannot help but be wary. I would not trust this witch as far as I can throw her, which is very far.
Say what you like about her, but she is my sister. I don't believe she ever truly performed any wicked deeds. Not of her own volition, at least. She was cursed, remember? She might very well be cursed now, if this Jane really is her.
Lisbeth ponders. While biting her thumb, she looks at her feet, her eyes narrowed, then says, after a pause,
Well, I won't know who she really is, until I've had a chance to see her for myself. I should be able to figure out who she really is, even if you cannot. Lynette is my older sister. I recognize her anywhere, and I am sure she, too, would recognize me.
I would not count on that. Her memories might well have been tampered with.
But for what cause? You have been revived, yet you seem to remember everything. Why should it not be the case for my sister?
That I cannot answer. There is much I do not know, and I am not ashamed to admit my own ignorance. Lynette, if she is Lynette, might have been revived by the same mysterious benefactor who aided me. But then again, she might not have. This could all be a coincidence.
And yet, despite saying that, you still can't eat any of her cake?
I would rather not take that risk.
Let me and Lizzie eat it, though. And my gran, for that matter. That doesn't sound very chivalrous.
Perhaps it isn't, but the three of you look fine. For the present.
For the present! There is an eyebrow, and Esmond smiles.
If the three of you should turn into frogs later this evening, I shall consider my mistrust well placed. I doubt she would try to harm you so blatantly, though. If indeed that is what she intends.
Well, of course she wouldn't. She is my sister. Why would she ever hurt me?
Well, there was that one time. There was that one time. Again, that one time.
I recall Lynette's transformation into a yellow-eyed, dark-scaled dragon, and attempted to swallow both Lynette and I whole, but decide, after a pause, not to bring this up.
There was that one time. This is the one time.
Like Lisbeth said, Lynette was cursed to assume that monstrous form. She didn't attack us of her own volition. Lynette was a victim of circumstance herself, just like Esmond was.
I don't know if Jane is Lynette, but if she is, what it is she wants. But I thought I should warn the two of you about her regardless.
You'd best to be on your guard around her, until I have ascertained who she really is. You say that, yet you would ask us to trust you unilaterally. You tried to kill us. Do not forget about that. I tried, yes, and I failed. You were rather more successful at that school. I was, but I only lashed it out because you left me no choice. I wanted to settle our differences peacefully. Particularly as, at that moment in time, I still believe it to be your brother. Believed you to be my brother. I would not have harmed you. I am not a cold-blooded killer. Had you not threatened me and Marnie. Yes, you are right about that. I know you are no fiend. You are a good, kind maiden, Lisbeth. That is why I wish to protect you, and Marnie too. You do not need to believe this, but it is the truth. I bear no ill will towards you. Not at all? Not in the slightest. Despite the whole being stabbed thing. That is water under the bridge. As Lisbeth so eloquently put it, I did not leave her much in the way of a choice. I'm alright now, however, so I see no reason to resent. I want to help you. I'm your ally. Whether you choose to rely on me is of course up to your own discretion. But I hope you at least heed this warning. Be wary of Jane. Whether she is Lynette or not, something about her does not sit right with me. I fear she is rather more powerful than she may appear. Give me a second. My lips are chapped. My lips are dry. Where am I? There it is. There it is. Genshin. That's where I know. That's where the name. It's from Genshin Impact. There we go. Anyways. Oh, that's figured out for myself. Then she's some kind of shapeshifter, a monster. She could very well be. The forest has fair share beasts with mutable shapes. Some can assume human forms with the ease you and I might breathe. Right. A shudder runs through my spine at Esmond's words. It's not a cold day, by any stretch of the imagination. It's nice and balmy, in the mid-20s, but Esmond's warning is unnerving. What a mood killer. And speaking of the forest, Esmond's frown deepens further still. You would be very well to avoid it if you can. It has not been right ever since I awakened. I would rest more easily if I knew you were not looking for trouble. Though I fear, within time, trouble will invariably find you. Esmond leaves shortly after this ominous address, leaving me with even more questions than I ever had before meeting him. How Esmond came to the reborn seems just as much a mystery to him as it is to me, and now, to further complicate matters, it looks like even Lynette might be mooching about Fenchapel. It's quite a lot to take in. One supposes the dead person from centuries ago stopping by to say hello is enough of a potential headache. But 2? This whole situation smacks of supernatural. I wouldn't be at all surprised if magic's playing a big part in all this, but I thought Leaf's old pendant had been stripped of its powers. I still have that pendant. I wear it all the time. But it should be nothing more than an ordinary piece of jewelry now. I thought I'd put all that airy-fairy magic stuff behind me after defeating the dragon, restoring Lisbeth's memory, and reuniting Lisbeth with Lynette. But I guess I'm wrong. There's a bunch of these loose ends we're still tied up. We've still got to tie up. I just wish I knew how. Tired after the drive to Fenchapel, Lisbeth and I frittle away the afternoon. Then the evening, doing little of note. We joined Gran in the living room after dinner to help her with a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle. She's been pretty into jigsaws lately, while Silent Witness plays on the TV in the background. Lisbeth fond of Silent Witness for whatever reason, and her fingers keep stilling in the search of for edge pieces as she stares in the sconce at the TV. I think Silent Witness is dull as ditch water. It's myself. It is a show for OAPs after all, but I can't fault Lisbeth for enjoying it. It's not like they had TVs back in her time. She's been living like a modern girl for the last couple of years, but the little things I take for granted, like cars and TVs and mobile phones and the internet, still astound her. I find her continued enthusiasm for the world pretty endearing. I'd rather watch Lisbeth than the TV, so I do. But still, my mind is reeling, and not because I'm desperate to solve the ins and outs of the murder mystery presented in tonight's episode of Silent Witness. I have another mystery in the real world to tend with. Eventually, exhausted, Gran shuts off the TV, then bids us a good night. She shuffles out of the room with her indoor slippers, her pastel cardigan wrapped tight about her shoulders. But it isn't really cold. It's a lukewarm night, if anything, pleasant enough to forego long sleeves. My Gran must feel the cold more acutely than I do. I find myself pondering on account of her old age. I thought in the very last piece of my Gran's 1,000-piece puzzle, and rise to my feet. Stretching, I look to Lisbeth, then say, "Do you want to head upstairs?" "If you would not mind, I must admit, I'm feeling rather tired myself. Driving always exhausts me." The roads around Fenchapel are pretty demanding, yeah. I agree with a vague nod, though, of course, since I can't drive myself. I don't have any first-hand knowledge of just how tiring these tight, cold country roads really are. And there was only one bed. I guess I'll find out later, since I've gotten my own driving skills up to snuff. Let's go back to bed, then. Do you want to have a bath first, maybe? That sounds lovely. I want to retire of your bathtubs, regardless of how long I've been living in this century. They're most convenient. Back in my day, when I wished to bathe, I was obligated to do so outside, in a lake, or else with the water drawn from a well. It's always funny, I reflect, with a small smile, to hear Lisbeth say, "back in my day." It's a phrase that's commonly associated with people who are referring to a similar age of my Gran. Girls like Lisbeth don't often have to cause to say it, unless they're talking about, like, the early thousands, in the denim jeans, and Avril Lavigne. The water was always cold, and full of frog spawns. Often I felt dirtier than I had bathed. Dirtier after I had bathed than I did beforehand. It was quite the miserable experience. I'll bet you back then must have stunk. I feel more fragrant now than I ever did in the past. It is true. This era has so many wonderful inventions. It would be an awful waste not to make the most of them. It's with this announcement that Lisbeth and I exit the living room, then traipse upstairs. Lisbeth has a bath while I relax in our shared bedroom, which used to be my Aunt Leda's room, looking through my phone. Once Lisbeth all washed and dried, the hair damp, and her face flushed, I head into the bathroom to clean myself up. I whip off my makeup, a nighty routine which always takes a small eternity. Then step into the shower, an act I finish in under 15 minutes. I brush my teeth, comb back my hair, then head back to the bedroom. Elizabeth is already lying in bed, reading a book. Though she has a phone of her own, Dad bought it for her, reasoning that it's a necessity in the 21st century. She doesn't tend to use it all that much. I guess she still hasn't gotten used to it, though. She's had it a while. She's forever leaving her phone on silent, then forgetting to turn it back on, then forgetting to turn it back on to vibrate, and her texts are riddled with typos on the rare occasion she does use it. Phones are useful in theory, because you can contact people even if they're very far away, but they're not so useful actually if the owner of said phone never remembers to pick up any calls or reply to any texts. Lisbeth has problems using the TV too, and the laptop. She can't type to save her life. But despite all that, she's still a better driver than I am. It's a mystery how that worked out, really. Yay! A fun evening to spend the night with somebody precious. A cute little parallel. I slide to bed beside Lisbeth, who makes space for me, obliging my shuffling onto one side. Floating a bookmark inside her paperback, Lisbeth isn't the type to leave books open, crab-like, or on her bedside table. Lisbeth sets the tome aside and looks at me askant. Oh, you're right, Marnie. You look like you have a lot on your mind. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can find the parallel. I have it saved somewhere. I have the parallel somewhere on my fucking Discord, on my mini Discords. Let's see. I just saw Roxanne T-posing, lol. Scrolling through the Discord channel, trying to find that fucking image of the gays. Yes, she has freckles. Yes, little freckles. Go to Conan, Happy Blossoms. Give it a voice. It's the cute little parallel. Give me a second. I should have a browser source I can use for anything, right? Googie Posse, shout out, sound alert. Fighter Fancy. I thought I had a browser I could just use whenever I want. I thought I had an empty sound video browser source somewhere here. Discord VC. Huh. I guess I got rid of it. Okay. Give me a second. Shut down, not visible, refresh. Look! Look at that. Isn't this cute? Isn't that cute? Look at them. They've grown so much. Look at the babies. I love them. I love the babies. Oh, you're right, Marnie. You look like you have a lot on your mind. You could say that, yeah. Today's been kind of wild. It's been a lot to take in. I quite agree. I too have been given much to consider. I did not at all expect that upon returning to Fenchapel, we would meet once again with Esmond. Okay, my first Amazon order, my Amazon order of the day is 9 stops away from dropping off my portable battery and fucking luggage tags. Hell yeah. I'm stalking my Amazon driver on the website right now. I'm looking at where they are. Join the club. We have badges. There is a club? Lisbeth looks at me, all wide-eyed intrigue. Damn, she's so innocent. I feel a little bad for being so snarky around her. Not that such snarkishness has directed at her. Lisbeth still struggles with figurative language from time to time. She's gotten a lot better at it than she was, but certainly turn of phrase still perplexes her. No, there's no club. It's just a saying. It doesn't, really mean anything. Ah, yes. I feel I still need to get used to that. I don't fully understand why people of this era say things without meaning them. Were we still in my day, I would call such statements lies. But I know you do not mean to lie to me, Marnie. Of course not. That's never been my intention. Yes, I know I can rely on you, and you, in turn, can rely on me. I'm gonna have to grab this real quick while we're here. Grab the gaze. Lizzie. I feel my heart skip a beat at this remark. Lisbeth's awfully daring, considering she lived so very long ago. But maybe people were even more adventurous back then than they are now. It's not like Lisbeth hails from the Victorian era, where people used to cover their piano legs in shame. And even if she had, it's not like the Victorians were all stuck up and self-important. At the end of the day, we're all humans, and we all demand affection from one another. That's why Lisbeth and I can understand one another, magic shenanigans aside, despite being born so many years apart. She's an ordinary girl, just like I am. Maybe that's why I like her so much. I know not what precisely is going on, but I want you to be aware of at least this much. I am still your knight, Marnie, though it has been 2 years since I last took up a sword. I swore I'd protect you when we first met, and my words hold true still. I, unlike people today, do not say things I do not mean. I will always be by your side, no matter, so worry not. We will be alright if we are together, regardless of what challenges we may have to face. Everything will be just fine. Lisbeth. My heart, which is already fluttering inside my chest, seems to expand upon hearing those words. Consoled, for the moment, despite my residual worries, I dip my own head to murmur. I know all of that. I've never once doubted you, not even for a second. You're the best knight a girl could ever hope for. And you are the best lady a knight could ever hope to serve. Oh, I don't know about that. I do. I am not being facetious. I really do mean it. can think that if you want, but I can't. I can disagree. I don't think there's anything all that great about me, really, but I smile. Thank you, Lizzie. I feel a lot better now. Good. I am glad. I feel better myself, knowing that you feel better. And who knows? Perhaps I will not need to take up my sword anew after all. Everything may yet be fine. I hope it is. If anything happened to you. Oh, hi, Nick. Thank you for the raid. Hi, Nick. What are you doing? You get some Wuthering Heights? I'm playing, lesbian game. We're gonna play Wuthering Heights, Wuthering Waves, Wuthering Heights, Wuthering Heights, the book, Wuthering Waves. Let's see, it's loading, it's loading, it's loading, it's loading, it's loading, it's loading. Wuthering Heights. Imagine playing a book, playing a literary book. Of course you were. Of course you're playing gacha game. Of course. So, did you do it, Nick? Did you do it? Did you do it, huh? But did you do it? Do I gotta pull out the thing? Do I gotta pull out the shame bell? Do I gotta start shaming you, Nick? Hmm? 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 Okay. You've spared the shame bell for now. Count your blessings, mortal. Count your blessings for while you still have them. I begin, but I don't finish that. I don't want to contemplate anything so molten. Instead, overcome by the softness in Lisbeth's brown eyes, and inner voice, and of her skin, and lean in. In the darkness beneath the covers, and then its mouth meets my own. But I'm close to putting on the event banner, so I might not need to. Well, lucky for that. Good luck on that. And sigh. I surrender myself to her gentle, consoling kisses. Them bitches gay. Good for them. Good for them. The second day! I wake up early the next morning to the chirping of the birds and get dressed. I brush my hair in the bathroom and set about the laborious
I was
task
just
of
thinking
applying
that
my
you look
makeup.
like the sort of person who would
Into the
enjoy
hydroplasm.
one of our fairy kiss chillers.
And stretch. Thank you. Right, my back. Lovely. The concealer goes on first, and the foundation makes my already pale face paler still. I ring my eyes with copious smuts of liner, elongate my lashes with mascara, and dab dark eyeshadow over my lids. Putting on my makeup is an important part in my daily routine, and by this point, I think I've gotten it down pat. The trick is to try and look like a corpse, but not just any old corpse will do. I want to look like a newly minted corpse, freshly dredged from a wintry river, all shocking white skin and dark, soulless eyes. Ah, the perfect woman. When rot gets too far advanced, it stops being aesthetic. Once I fully
becomes a wave of blood and viscera, pieces of her splattering against the walls, all that remains in the center of the room is a skeleton of blades. Yes! Behold! The perfect woman!
Once I've fully styled my vampiric glory, I head down to the kitchen. Brenna's awake already, dressed in one of her favorite pastel cardigans and a pair of matching slippers. She's busy fussing over a pan of milk she's bringing to a boil over the hob. I guess she must be making breakfast. She greets me when she sees me, but waves aside my offer to help. Oh no, it's fine, dear. I'm almost finished. You can go and sit with Lisbeth if you'd like. I'll bring you your porridge soon. You like porridge, don't you, Marnie? When you're making it, yeah. Your porridge can't be beaten. I'm glad to hear it. You're so sweet. I'll have to sprinkle your porridge with extra sugar. I know that's how you like it, Marnie dear, and no, I don't let you say that otherwise. You got your free 5-star, and it was me winning or wanting. Okay. Cool. Nice. I'm not gone too far into Withering Waves. I've met Scar, and then I voluntarily went to fight a level 45 monster that took like 20 tries to kill. I went to fight a level 45 monster. It was very interesting. Took a long time to do. You've always had a sweet tooth. It runs in the family. Your father couldn't be trusted in the kitchen whenever I've been baking biscuits. He used to snatch the whole lot fresh off the oven while we were still hot, and then he'd wonder why his stomach hurt. But I was on level 20, Nick. So I'm still capped at level 20. That sounds like Dad, alright. My dad's not a little kid anymore, stealing biscuits when my grand's back is turned. But he can still eat for England, especially when biscuits are involved. I've seen him polish off a jumbo pack of hobnobs. All to him, hobnobs. Hobnobs. Oh. Interesting. Hobnob biscuits. Huh. Interesting. One sitting. It's kind of impressive, actually. He just inhales them, like they're made of air. And it's not, you know, oats and chocolate. I skirted around Gran, then joined Lisbeth on the table. Lisbeth woke up when I did, but she finished dressing more quickly, probably because she never bothered with makeup. That always gives her a good half hour. Start on me in the morning. Sorry, check Amazon again. This car hasn't moved. This fucking delivery guy hasn't moved in the past 30 minutes. Please, move. How long are you gonna stay at the fucking lazy boy? Move! Or is that... No, that's an apartment building. No, that's lazy boy. Move! My guy! I know you're looking at I know you're fucking doing an apartment building, but come on! Makeup isn't just an art form. Oh, sure, now you're moving. Like any other. And if it's worth doing, I think it's worth doing properly. You can't rush creativity. Hello there, Marnie. Lisbeth greets me cheerily as I slide into the chair beside her. Your makeup looks even more impressive than usual this morning, Marnie. You really think so? I fished my phone from my pocket, feeling a little self-conscious, then examined myself in the camera.
They walked back into the apartment building. They walked away, then walked back into the apartment building. God dang it. My eyeliner isn't crooked, is it? I had to reapply it a couple times. I'll never get good at sticking sharp, pointy objects near my eyes. I'm fine with that. No matter how often I apply my makeup, it's one of my weaknesses. That short of Alex eyeball in a clockwork orange was even more unsettling too, to me at least, than anything I've ever seen of the Saw movies, I swear. Please leave the building. Thank you. It looks fine to me. I don't think it's crooked at all. You look very gloomy, just like a ghost. Thanks. That's the look I was going for. And I think you pulled it off wonderfully. It is impressive. Really, how you're able to do your makeup every single morning, and so attentively too. I doubt I would have the patience for it. I do not even know how I would go about it. It looks very fiddly. I could teach you, if you like, but I think you look fine without makeup. You don't really need it. I think you look fine without it too, though. I know that is not really the point. You paint your face because you enjoy it. Do you not? It's pretty fun, yeah. In the beginning, I think I got into it mostly to piss my mother off, but I guess it's become an important part of my daily routine. Or something. My makeup really was awful in the beginning, though. You shouldn't have seen it. You should have seen it. Oh, I zoomed too far in. I zoomed far in. I had like zero sense of subtlety. So it just slathered foundation all over my face, yet it wasn't even the right shade until it started to crack. I figured my mother didn't want me going back to school like that because she was being a boring old adult. But I think she might have had a point now. I looked like a right plunker. Did you wash your makeup off at her behest? Before I left the house, yeah. I'd always reapply it in the bathroom at school, though. I wasn't able to get pushed around by any stupid authority figures. I wanted to be an individual. Even if I think said stupid authority figure, in this case my mother, had a perfectly valid complaint when she said I was making her look like a depressed jester. Oh well. You live and learn. Goodness me! You use it to be such a rebel, Marnie. What do you mean used to? I still am. Anarchy is, like, the way to go. Maybe. I think. I shrugged. I don't know. I can't say I cared for all the hoops I had to jump through to get into uni. It was a massive production. Why does everything in this world have to be so hard? I gotta go. Okay, bye. Good luck at work, Nick. Don't be a bitch. The world nowadays certainly seems fonder of paperwork than it was during my childhood. That'd be because, back when you were a child, paper wasn't invented yet. Weren't you still writing on parchment? I don't know. I really can't say. I did not know back then how to write at all. Not even my own name. Yeah, I know. I remember how much trouble you had when you first got here. I guess the world was pretty anarchistic back when you were alive then. Things weren't regulated nearly as much.
things are more monarchist than anarchist. Though people were, by the large, left to fend for themselves. There was an awful lot of banditry, and it wasn't uncommon for crimes to go unnoticed or unpunished. Getting by could be rather difficult. And of course, no girls dressed as you did back then. Foundation had not been invented yet, or false lashes. I guess if I'd wanted to paint my face, I'd have been stuck using woad? 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 This is eyebrows wrinkled. I do not believe that we ever used that, no. No? We did used to dye clothes from time to time, but not to paint our faces. It would have burned. Woad can irritate the skin. Oh, right. I didn't know that. This misunderstanding of mine seems about on par with my eyeliner position. Since corrected, that people during Lisbeth's time regularly ate potatoes. I never forgot how baffled Lisbeth was when Gran served her plate of mashed potatoes. She looked at them like, I don't know, they were made from heavenly manna or something. I guess it makes sense logically, given potatoes weren't brought to England until the 16th century. But how was I supposed to know that? They're so ubiquitous. You'd think they'd always been here. Lisbeth and I chatted for a few minutes about various topics until Gran shuffled over to us with the porridge. Here you are, dear. Your breakfast is served. This one's for you, Lisbeth, dear, and this one's for Marnie. I hope you enjoy it. Gran's voice is cheery enough, but I can't help but note as she handles the bowls that her hands are shaking. Gran's had the shakes for a while, but her tremors seem more pronounced than they've ever been. Is she really alright? She's smelling so much, I can't really tell. I think I'd be almost relieved if I knew my Gran was sick, so I'd have something concrete to pin potatoes on. But I don't think there's anything really wrong with her. Nothing, at least, save old age. Sadly, there's no recovering from that. Despite mankind's collective search since the dawn of creation to avert the aging process. The Philosopher's Stone doesn't, to my knowledge, exist. Bathing in the blood of virgins proved to be a total bust. No matter who you are, or where you come from, you'll get old eventually. It never hit me as a kid that as a human, my Gran's lifespan is finite. But Grandpa Frank's death made it hit home. Gran's not going to be around forever. Now that's a pretty molten thought for an early in the morning. Upsy daisy. Gran muttered this to herself as she slides into a chair. The winches briefly upon the descent. She winces briefly upon the descent as though in pain. Before I've a chance to ask how she is, she smiles again. She helps herself to a spoonful of her own porridge, her fingers still shaking, to look choppy when contrasted with her spoon, which is clean and silver, slowly, resoundingly inanimate. Spoons and bowls don't age, but people do. You can't escape it. Oh, this is good. Gran exclaims, after swallowing a mouthful of her own porridge. I think I've exceeded myself. But what do you girls think? Eat up now, dears, before it gets cold. Of course. Thank you very much, Gran. Yes, thank you, Gran. I dip my own spoon into my porridge and then bring it to my lips. The porridge, I soon discover, made just how I like it. Thick and lumpy, with a lot of granulated sugar on top. It's good enough that, for a few moments, I'm able to forget my concerns about Gran. She can't be in such a bad state, surely, if she's still able to cook like this. I'm much younger than Gran is, and my own cooking leaves a lot to be desired. I even burn toast, for pity's sake. So, what do you think? Do you guys like it? Oh yes, it's delicious. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's not bad, thanks. Good. I'm glad you like it. I wish I could cook for you this evening too, but I'm not sure if I'll be up to it. Not with these old hands of mine. They've been awfully shuddery lately, as you might have noticed. Varying even simple recipes has started to wear me out. Grant speaks slightly, as though she's discussing the weather, but the topic of her slow deterioration makes me pause. Now it feels like there's a lump in my throat, and no, it's not from my Gran's porridge. It's hard and round, like a golf ball. It doesn't disappear even when I swallow. I wonder if I can even stomach the rest of my breakfast. It'd be a shame to waste it given Gran went all the effort, but I won't let the two of you get hungry though. Jane should be coming over this afternoon to help with the dinner. Her shepherd's pie is always as good as mine, and she's very good at baking too. You should both talk to her. She's been asking about my family, and I think she'd like to see you. Doesn't that sound nice? Yeah, it sounds nice, I guess. Really nice. I try to sound cheerful, but I can't quite muster up the enthusiasm. All this talk about Gran's mortal state has been tiring me, and then there's the whole Jane business to worry about. Is she really Lynette resurrected after she and Lisbeth said their farewells in the forest? I've no idea. I figured we'd have to talk to her sooner rather than later, but the thought of it's more than a little concerning. That hard, solid golf ball of anxiety, which was lodged in the base of my throat, seems to have slipped down my esophagus, to reside instead in the pit of my stomach. Gran's porridge might be sweet, but right now, I can barely taste it. So I'm just checking my phone for anything important notification-wise. Not yet, as far as I can read. Not good. Breakfast consumed, Lisbeth and I help Gran clean the tableware, then go off to wander about the garden. It's early in the morning, not yet 9 o'clock, but the sun is already high and bright in the sky, as yellow as the part of butter. The sun's rays warm the top of my head and my scalp, promising future sunburns when it reaches its zenith. Maybe I should have put some sunscreen on before heading outside. I made sure to pack a bottle, but it's sitting unopened in my suitcase since I got here. I'll have to make sure to remember it tomorrow. As it is, however, it's a little too late to worry about that. I might be thinking about mundane matters such as sunscreen, but Lisbeth is looking rather molten. She was cheery enough this morning when she was talking about the impracticalities of using gold in lieu of makeup. Take that, Braveheart, but the mention of Lynette seems to have thrown her. She looks uneasy. Lisbeth said she was my knight last night, but it isn't a one-way thing. I want to protect her too. I've seen many sides of Lisbeth over the last couple of years, and while I liked most of them, I far prefer when she smiles. Hey, Lizzie. I paused by the lakeside, standing beneath the shade of the top-heavy willow. Then look at her. Are you alright? I would like to believe that I am. Nothing catastrophic has happened, so there is no need for distress. But I'm very curious about this Jane person. I don't blame you. I'm curious about her too. I wonder. I begin, but I choose, after a pause, not to finish the sentence. It seems kind of pointless putting my wondering into words, when they ought to be obvious already. I know Lisbeth's thinking the same as I am. I wonder if she really is Lynette. Well, we'll never know until we meet her, I guess. Do you want to try talking to her this evening? If she really is Lynette, she should recognize you. And if she isn't, well, you chalk it all up to coincidence. Not that I'm sure I believe in coincidences anymore. After Esmond was revived. Oh, meet and greet tickets open soon. Off-Kai meet and greet tickets open soon. That's great. I have... Ooh. That's a lot of images. Hey! Awesome, they're gonna have, Highway Blossoms, song at Off-Kai. Cool. Yeah, they're the Tramps. Yeah. Sorry. I refreshed Twitter, and the first thing I see under the Off-Kai post is Josh tweeting an egg. He's cooking. He's cooking something. Josh is cooking something. Awesome. He's cooking. And then the next tweet I see is Ebi Hime. Thinking about that time I made a Yuri visual novel about a depressed woman who gets engaged to a man she doesn't like to appease her parents, and later realized that she'd be happier if she embraced who she is and confessed to her childhood friend. Hell yeah. We love that. We love that for women. Anyways. I don't know what the Friday Act holds. We'll find out soon, hopefully. I'm still stalking my Amazon driver. I'm still stalking the Amazon driver, waiting for the fucking delivery to get through. Yes. Yes. I think that sounds good. I am apprehensive, I will admit, about the thought of seeing my sister again. If indeed it is her. I know I am to blame for her suffering, and I feel remorse for it. Well, when it's nearing the when it gets to a certain amount, it stops until it's your package. There it like opens up a fucking Google map. It opens up a map of like where your driver is roughly. Like my driver is 7 stops away, and I know roughly where they are because I know the layout of the surrounding area. Yeah, did you not know that? If you stare at your order page, like your tracking page long enough, you refresh it like every now and again when it gets closer to your delivery time, it tells you. Oh, I use Amazon. Oh, I use Amazon for things. I Amazon very often. Yeah, I order a bunch of Amazon things. A lot of things I got off Amazon because it's easy and also it's relatively fast delivery. I know I'm to blame for her suffering, and I feel remorse for it. Part of me fears that she might hold it against me. Still, despite all her reassurances, I cannot fathom how she could forgive me after all I did. But another part of me hopes it is her. Very much so. I would like to see her again, and speak with her. If she would like to see and speak to me, that is. There's much I would like to tell her about my life, if she would care to listen. Oh yeah? I take a step closer to Lisbeth, then nudge her on the side of her shoulder. Like what? I think you ought to know, Marnie. I want to tell her about my time spent living with you and your parents, and all the places we have been together, all the things I have seen, and all the things I have done with you. I want to tell her about my studies and the books I have been reading, and that I passed my driving test on my very first attempt. Well, on your very first attempt. Yep, rub it in. And I want to tell her all about you, too, and our relationship. I want you to know how I feel about you, and how happy you make me. Oh. I blink, caught off guard by Lisbeth's sweet show of sincerity. My face is starting to get hot, not because of the sunlight, which isn't all that relentless, but because my girlfriend is so freaking sweet. I like to think I'm pretty cool, but when I'm with Lisbeth, I get all shy and stammery. She knows exactly how to surprise me, and her compliments, when they come, make me sigh almost as much as she kisses me, as her kisses do. Lizzie, you, what do you want? Oh. Meet and greet tickets sale open up in 2 hours at 5 p.m. PST. If you want to buy meet and greet tickets, you should get their opening up in 2 hours. Better be ready. I don't really care that much. I'm not that chuffed about meet and greets. It was to win a lottery, but that's fine. Yeah. Like I said last time, I was only want to get the Hololive Bibu and Kaylin or whatever her name was, solely for the purpose of saying that Shura says hi and that Shura loves watching their content. And that's mainly just for Shura, but that's fine. It's a shame. Here's hoping our friends who want meet and greets can get their tickets. It's a shame that Mari didn't get in the showcase. I'm sad. Would've been cool. A shame. Do I like me all that much? Yes. Well, of course I do. I like you an awful lot. You would not be my partner if I did not. Being with you brings me a good deal of joy. To such a degree, I feel guilty keeping it all to myself. It would be wrong to keep it from my sister. I think, when she cares for me too. I know I often gave her cause to worry about me, particularly when I was younger. Given my impertinenceness, I have always been flighty. She feared I would never be able to settle down. Her concerns should be assured. At the very least, if she were to know how comfortable I feel when I am with you. I want to tell her about you. Jeez. I scratched I scratched my cheek with my index finger. I bet I'm all red and blotchy beneath my foundation. Gross. That's kind of embarrassing. But since we are a couple, I guess it's only natural you'd want to tell your sister about us. I think that's fine and all. It's not like I would want to keep our relationship a secret, but maybe you could try dialing your affection down a notch. It's not like I'm all that amazing. Oh, but you are! I think you are wonderful! Marnie, please, do not be so hard on yourself. I can try, I guess. If you can stop being, like, so reverential. I'm not a goddess. No, you are not. You are my girlfriend, and my lady. And though I have vowed to protect you, you have often protected me too. Will you stay by my side when we speak to Jane, regardless of who she may prove to be? Of course I will. Rinse together. That's what being couples is all about, after all. Oh, my driver teleported across the fucking... My driver teleported again. My driver has teleported to a long road. Okay, I know where that is. I think. Sorry, I'm staring at this map, trying to figure out, trying to run down where it is. Okay, yeah, never mind. I'm literally stalking my Amazon driver trying to figure out where the fuck he is on the map. Like where he is relative to my location. Like where, because again, I know the area around my house quite well. So I can surmise where he is, or where the driver is, just by staring at this map. And he is... Okay, I know where that is. Okay, fine. It's kind of funny. It's kind of weird. Or something. I look away, my brow knitted together like one of Gran's natty cardigans. Great. Now I'm the one who sounds corny. Exchanging sweet nothings is, like, so not my vibe. So, I reckon it's be a while till Jane comes over. Gran did say she dropped by during the evening. Well, we have a fair bit of time to kill until then, so I was thinking, do you want to go for a walk? It's been a while since we came to Fenchapel, and I figured it might help take your mind off things. If that's what you want to, of course. You just... Hell yeah! Congrats! Congrats to that character. Hell yeah. I'm very happy. I'm excited to open up to read one of the books I'm bringing to the plane. I'm still sad I can't bring more books than I wanted to because of the bag capacity and how I can't carry everything in it. But you live with what you got, and I'm okay with whatever I'm bringing.
I'm bringing 2 relatively thick ones that have some. I think have some good stories. Are good stories in it. I could also, in theory, put maybe 1 book in my carry-on if I really wanted to. Like, cram it up. But, like, my carry-on's, like, already bursting with just the cosplay thing, isn't it? So I think I'm gonna not put more. Plus, I might put, I might shove the tapestries in there as well when I come home. So I need room for that as well. So I guess I'll save room for that. I will have more room on the way back on my checked bag, because again, I won't have I won't have 8 bags of chips in my bag on my way home. Because they'll either be eaten, or Rat's gonna take them. And snack on them for a bit. Who knows? But I'm excited. I also have some, but aside from the chips for the party, I allocated 2 bags of chips and then 2 small boxes of chocolate, snack-sized chocolates for us to like carry around and give to like maybe like for like meetups with like Mari and Ava and stuff to eat. I can't wait to try the fucking musk lolly. I think that's what Mari. I think the thing that Mari says is fine, and Shura just hates a musk lolly. Can't wait for that. Whatever the fuck that is. It looks. It's a pink thing. Wait, have I had one of these before? I might have had a musk lolly before, if it's possible. We'll find out. The musk lolly. Why are you Possum? Why are you so surprised? She's talked about this before. Because Mari is bringing Australian snacks to Offkai. I'm bringing a few Canadian snacks to Offkai. You might have to carry. You might have to carry them at some point because hands. But I also bought a bag for us to hold them, for you to hold them, for me to hold them, for us to hold them, for you to hold them. You're the allocated bag holder for us to hold them if need be. So it's fine. I'm excited. The girl we always established that I have no memory whatsoever. Literally. And I have the most useless memory in that I am forgetful, but also I remember a bunch of random fucking shit that does not need to be allocated in my memory. Something I did forget though was that at some point I forgot that I keep forgetting that Posse is lactose intolerant. I forgot at some point that Mari cannot eat tomatoes. Funny. But I do remember that Mari cannot have sunscreen in her vicinity, or she will fucking start dying. So don't wear sunscreen when we meet Mari. And if you do, make sure it's absorbed in your goddamn skin by that. Make sure the sunscreen is dissolved within your pores before we hug and or meet and or handshake Mari. Mari. Anyways, it's been a while since we came to Fenchapel, and I figured it might help take your mind off things. If that's what you want, of course. Why I gotta bring sunscreen? Come on. I don't know. Some people like sunscreen in general. I'm just letting you know that you can't have don't have sunscreen when you meet Mari. Oh, that sounds lovely. It is a very pleasant day, and I think it would be most pleasant still spent in your company. We will now go into the fucking woods.
Even though Esmond warned us to steer clear of the goddamn woods, we're going to ignore those warnings and go into the woods. Into the woods to fetch the water. Into the woods. Into the woods. Into the woods. Into the woods. I don't know the lyrics of the song. Thank you, verily, for bestowing upon me this privilege, milady. I shall not forget your favor. Sure, that's great, I guess. Lisbeth talks in a fairly modern parlance nowadays, having spent a decent chunk of time in the 21st century. But sometimes she peppers her speech with more dated terms, typically when she's excited. I'm not quite sure if she's putting it on for show, or whether she's being sincere. I'm really excited. I'm excited for the maid cap. I'm excited for Sunday. Saturday and Sunday are gonna be so fun. Saturday is just full of a whole ass schedule planned, and then Sunday is maid cafe, and then boba, and then rat party. I have a whole goddamn fucking I have a whole Saturday planned out. By that I mean I have giant chunks of it planned because I won't have things I want to go to. I gotta do a fucking silly cosplay showcase with my relatively low effort cosplay, but I'm here for the fun. I'm doing it for the sillies. I've established we're doing it for the sillies. Little silly billies. We're doing silly things. Knowing Lisbeth, who finds it hard to knowingly tell lies, I say it's the latter. She's not a very good actress. Yeah, Friday is vendor hall meeting people. Maybe streaming. I don't know. That I'm still on the fence about that idea of streaming walking around at Hofguy. I'm not sure if I'm not sure how. I don't know. I'm on the fence about that still. It'd be kind of funny, but also like I don't know, man. I don't know, man. No, I'm sorry. No. Imagine us walking around just streaming Hofguy. It'd be kind of funny, but also, again, I don't know. I'm unsure about this idea. So we're now head to the church. It's fairly scenic. Yes, indeed. I would very much like to take a look at the stained glass window and the guest book. I mean, it's technically allowed, but I'm gonna be careful not to dox folks. Definitely not gonna dox people. I mean, I definitely won't. If we do meet the people, I'm definitely not gonna fucking goddamn stream their faces. We'll be fine. I know what I'm doing. We're fine. Worry not. Awesome. I am a professional VTuber. I'm a professional. I love it, seeing your handwriting that one time. From when you were a small child. It was very precious. Thanks, I think? Lisbeth gets a kick out of the strangest things. It's not fair, I think, pouting that I can't look at her baby photos when she was mine. When she has mine. Or coo over her old school uniform, with childish drawings scrawled in clumsy wax crayon. Her first awkward attempt at writing her own name. We got the first clumsy attempt for writing her name, didn't we? My mum has this old shoebox full of bits and pieces of my childhood, including a hunk of my own hair I snipped off when I was 6, which Lisbeth regularly likes to sort through. Okay. I was like, she likes the hunk of hair? Oh, never mind. Thank you, Galova. Oh, Marnie, she often says, grinning. You are so adorable! Lisbeth, alas, can't. Lisbeth, alas, doesn't have such trinkets of her own childhood, given that happened centuries ago. They didn't even have cameras back then, so she doesn't have any paper photos, and of course, she never went to a primary school. I have no idea what Lisbeth looked like when she was little, but I can guess. She would have been shorter than she is now, but just as inquisitive, always eager to embark upon new adventures. In some ways, Lisbeth's quite like a kid, even now. She's eager about almost everything, she's full of energy, but like that, when I've had enough sleep to appreciate being poured around by her, that is. Being with Lisbeth never fails to make me happy. That's gay. Lisbeth and I walk Lisbeth and I walk companionably to the church down a windy dirt track that's lined with trees and tall grass. There's a breeze, but it's a warm, trancy kind of breeze, which does little to alleviate the unpleasant mugginess of the air. The weather's pretty unbearable, really. But I try to console myself. Maybe I'm coping. At least this part of Fenchapel is very picturesque. It's a sort of scene I'd want to paint for posterity. I have a soft spot for chalk, pastels, and watercolours, believe it or not. And I do like landscape paintings. I wonder if it was my childhood trips to Fenchapel which made me appreciate the stillness of a good tree so much. Ah! The heat is intense, especially for England, but maybe I should make the most of it. I know if it was the middle of the winter, I'd be complaining about the cold. Maybe I'm just a contrarian. Contrarian, you say? A contrarian, you say?
The look. Yeah, the best flirts know how to flirt without saying anything. We just have to let her know. Right? Flash the princess the look. And a rosy blush rushes to the princess's cheeks as she breaks into a wide grin. Unbelievable.
Oh, is that how it is? Yeah, okay, I feel that. I like you too. Neat.
Oh, be damned. This is actually going to work, isn't it?
Still going to kill you. But now we could both enjoy a mutual romantic subtext to the murder.
Or not. At least she likes us. I've never been liked before. Blush still glowing in her cheeks. The princess closes the distance between you and skewers
you. Lisbeth, for her part, seems optimistic. She's humming to herself, her arms linked behind her back, and her skirt fluttering around her legs. I think I recognize that song she's humming. It sounds awfully familiar, but I can't quite place it. Not until... Hey! What do you mean that for? What? Is there a problem? Yes, it's a problem. It's a big, big problem. That song you were humming. That was Golden Year, wasn't it? Yes, you are correct. It is a very catchy song. Do you not agree? Anything that'd be catchy, yeah. Anything would be catchy, yeah. After being subjected to it like a bajillion times, Mum's always playing that stupid song. I've hoped I'd finally gotten away from it. Out in Fenchapel. God. I sigh, then kick at the ground for a good measure. Since when were you a member of the Valineth Roth Appreciation Society? Well, let me think. I mean this in jest, but Lisbeth seems to be taking this seriously. She stands there, one hand beneath her chin, and ponders. I do not think that's that appreciation is quite the right word. That I do not hate him. Not as you seem to. His music really isn't bad. There's a reason why your mother is always listening to him. Yeah, there is. And I'll spell it out for you. It's 'cause she has a problem. Don't let Valentine Roth win you over, Missy. You're like 30 years too young to be into that washed up old geezer. You say that, but I think you will find that I am far older than he is. Technically, yeah. Sounds like you were actually conscious of that all those years. Really, you don't look a day over 18. Why, thank you. I do appreciate it, my lady. Lisbeth giggles, then drops me a curtsy, touching her skirt beneath her fingers. I do not have a problem with Valentine Roth, though I admit he is not my favorite bard. But his songs are rather charming. I think you're being overly critical, Marnie, because your mother likes him. Well, duh. I grew up with me mum blasting his CDs on repeat, like non-stop. Our family's holidays were plagued with his syrupy vocals. I think I have the right to be a little pissed at him. I know he doesn't know it, but he, like, single-handedly ruined my childhood. No! You're exaggerating. I do not believe Valentine Roth would do that. He seems like such a nice man in all of the documentaries. Documentaries? If I was staring at Lisbeth right before, I was downright gulping now. Since when did you start watching Valentine Roth's documentaries? I have watched a couple of them with your mother. They were rather interesting. You ought to have joined us. Your mother gets quite teary-eyed during the segments that deal with Valentine's home life. When his father died, I had to give her a hug. I think that hug would have meant more coming from you than me, though. Oh, for God's sake. It's been worse than I thought. Lisbeth is on the road to total brainwashing. I'd need to get her listening to some real music stat before she turns into a die-hard Valentine stan like my mother. Now that's a creepy thought. I am not only the young... I am not the only young person who likes Valentine either. Brigitte does too. From your job? Yes! Lisbeth has been working part-time at a local garden centre for a while, tending to plants and working on the tills. It's not the most glorious of jobs, but she seems to enjoy it. She's pretty personable, and she likes talking with all the customers. She likes talking with her co-workers too. She's made quite a few friends over the months, Brigitte being among them. This delivery person has been on the 6 stops away for the past 20 minutes. They have not moved for so long. Hello? Delivery person, are you alive? Are you alive? Hello? Have you died? Have you passed the fuck out of your car? Hello? Do you live? They have not moved for so long. It's a tad concerning, but I don't really care that much, because I'm in no rush to get my batteries and luggage tag. Come on, I would like my things, please, before my trip ends. I like my things before, I die. I knew they got on. They've gone shopping together a few times. But I had no idea they talked about Valentine Roth. How did Valentine Roth even come up in the conversation anyway? I told Brigitte about one of the documentaries I watched, and she was very enthusiastic. She said her mother loved Valentine too. But that's not a big surprise. He's a real heartthrob for bored 40 to 50 something year old housewives with nothing better to do. That doesn't mean Brigitte actually likes him though. At least I hope she doesn't. Otherwise I'd have to start vetting who Lisbeth can hang out with. The pair of us bicker playfully as we resume our walk, until after about 10 minutes we reach Fenchapel's church. The church looks about the same as it always does, and I presume the same as it always has for the last couple of centuries. It's a smallish, unremarkable sort of church, the kind that might impress an American tourist. Why would any American tourist come to Fenchapel, though? But wouldn't make your average Englander blink. These kind of churches are everywhere in England, in the UK. The church everywhere. Pretty much every village has one of their own, with similar looking stone walls and similar sounding names. All St. Mary's and St. James or so on. I don't know why Mary and James are so prevalent when it comes to naming churches. I don't know all that much about Christianity, despite my Aunt Joyce's best efforts to indoctrinate me growing up. But I'm sure there's more saints than them. What about a, I don't know, Saint Effenberger or Saint Ignatius? Maybe those are a little too niche. I don't know about these weirder, lesser known saints, thanks to the trowel on Wikipedia a while back. Fenchapel Church is rather pretty though, I suppose, despite being totally standard in almost every way. I say almost, because there's a lot less. There's at least one point in which Fenchapel's church stands out from the rest of the crowd, namely in regard to its stained glass window. Wow. The window's the very first thing I see when I step inside the church. Lisbeth trailing along on my heels. I have seen this window a bunch of times, of course, but it never fails to impress. It's not a particularly large stained glass window, but in fact a tiny village church like Fenchapel, the stained glass window is pretty impressive to begin with. It's not like Fenchapel's church's York Ministry. The scene the window depicts, meanwhile, makes it even stranger. The window shows a dragon, a vicious, sharp-fanged monster, racing off against the knight in horseback. I used to go to Fenchapel's church as a kid, and when I did, I'd always stare captivated at the fantastical scene depicted on the stained glass window. To me, it looked like something from an adventure story, way too cool to be related to the stuffy old Bible. I asked my mother what she thought the window depicted as a kid. I figured my parents, my mother in particular, knew everything, and she told me she thought it was St. George. Later, after meeting Lisbeth, I was given an alternate reading of Fenchapel's distinctive stained glass window. Lisbeth thought the knight in the window was St. Theodore, some lesser-known saint, famed for his skills when it came to exterminating large, scaly lizards. After doing a bit of research, however, Lisbeth and I came to the conclusion that the intrepid dragon slayer in the stained glass window is neither St. George nor St. Theodore. It is instead Leaf. The dragon, meanwhile, which is bearing down upon the knight, is the net. Now, that was quite a lot to wrap my head around, especially when Lisbeth and I had to face off against Lynette in the woods after she transformed into a monstrous lizard. The dragon depicted on the stained glass doesn't do Fenchapel's real dragon justice. The dragonish Lynette was way bigger and even more imposing. Oh, it's finally 5 stops away now, but it hasn't moved. It's 5 stops away, it hasn't moved at all. I see. It's a wonder we were ever able to defeat her. But with our efforts combined, Lisbeth and I emerged, more or less, unscathed. We escaped to tell the tale, not that anybody has believed us, which is more than I can say. More can be said for the scores of other knights throughout the ages, full-heartedly enough to challenge the dragon in Fenchapel's forest. I'd say we did pretty well for ourselves, all things considered. Oh, jeez. Now I'm starting to feel all sentimental. It was only about a couple of years ago that Lisbeth and I faced off against that dragon, but it feels like way longer. Time sure does fly. As if to remind myself rather of the fact, I sneak over to the guest book, which rests upon a wooden stand near the entrance of the church, and flip through it. My mother was big on me signing the guest book whenever I came to Fenchapel's church as a kid. For Easters and Christmas, with my grandparents and my aunts and my uncles, all my cousins. As such, much of the neat, lined pages stashed inside this book are full of my wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey, childish scribblings, testament of my poor penmanship. I'm still not the best when it comes to handwriting. My dad often jokes that I'd make a good doctor, but at least my spelling is improved. Oh look! You must have written that, Marnie. Lisbeth, who's been peering at the guest book from over my shoulder, giggles and points out my offending message. Your handwriting is not the easiest to read, but I think I can get the general gist. It says here that you had a good time at the Easter service, although... Does this say the priest is going bald? Oh, yeah, I let my eyes flicker across the childish remark written in sloppy letters that seem ready to fall apart. The priest had a big pink spot on his head. He should get it looked at the doctor and blush. Kids can be cruel, huh? I think I remember this priest, actually. He went to Fenchapel Church for a while, and with every service he presided over, he continued to get bolder and bolder. I remember gulping at the pink spot on his head until my mother nudged me and told me to stop staring. She said it was rude, which of course it was, but I don't think I meant any ill by it. It was just curious where all his hair had gone. I think I thought he had some kind of medical condition. It was concern, I swear, which made me write in the guest book about his bald pate. I wasn't trying to be rude. It's a wonder my mother let me write that comment down at all. Why didn't she even cross it out? Maybe she didn't notice it. I feel sorry for that priest. I hope you didn't bully him too much, Marnie. Oh, please. I was only a little kid. There's no way I could have gotten one over on a grown man. I'm sure he was able to live with it. That's what I say, but I reflect it was been a while since I saw that priest. I figured he had retired. He was getting on in years, but maybe my staring of his balding head, coupled with this thoughtless comment I left in the guest book back in 2008, was the last straw. Now I'm starting to worry that I really might have hurt his feelings. Oh well, This is, as they say, ancient history. I continued to peruse the guest book, boasting my memories, while Lisbeth tittered over some of my more facetious comments. Eventually, however, we tired of this activity and turned to leave the church. I give the stained-glass dragon one last backwards glance, recalling Lisbeth's skirmish with the beast deep within the foggy forest. Then, smiling, I step out into the sunset. I think this is a good place to end it. Let me just move over to the other screen. That was fun. There's good. I'm enjoying the story. It's interesting. I was not expecting to see Edmund back so soon. Like I mentioned when he first showed up, I knew he was alive again because of the spin-off. I just didn't think he would appear in this game. And it's just so soon. But yeah, that was fun. I'm enjoying it. Marnie and Lisbeth are fucking adorable. I love them. They're fucking beans. They're little baby beans. I wanna hug them. I wanna hold them close. But that will be it for today, I think. Probably for that's it for today. Unless something comes up. But that's it for the foreseeable today. Next stream will be a little silly. Tomorrow's stream is a little silly. 3 p.m. EST. What is it going to do? You'll have to tune in to find out. It's a surprise. A little silly surprise. You have to wait and see. But until then, we're gonna go. Of course, we're gonna go raid Leary. Our lovely, the lovely pink cat girl, who is of course playing Outer Wilds on Outer Wilds Sunday. Finishing the DLC. I'm not sure how far in the DLC she is, but she's having fun playing Outer Wilds, as she should. But yeah, let's all send our love to Leary. She's having a great time. Love our Leary. But yeah, that is it for today. As far as I can tell, it is not the right name. No, it is not. It's the wrong person. That's Eerie Leary. That was Eerie Leary, not Leary Leary. I realized, like, where is her profile picture in that raid? In that raid pop-up? That's not Leary, that's Eerie Leary. Who the fuck is Eerie Leary? Why is that a name? Anyways, that is it for today. I will see you guys tomorrow at 3 p.m. for a little silly little stream. And then I will see you Possum on Thursday evening. But until then, Witchcraft, have a lovely rest of your day, evening, whatever time it is. I'm gonna go get some dinner and relax. Bye!